Good afternoon and welcome to the live coverage of the Simply Race British Championships here live at the Simply Race facility, Milton Keynes. My name is Ben Turner, I'm joined here by Darren Kirk and we'll be taking you through an entire afternoon's racing. We're going to start off with the SRTCC, it's our version of the British Touring Car Championship, followed by some Clio Cup racing and some F2000 racing as well. So we've got a real action-packed afternoon coming up. Take a look at the intro video and we'll be right back with the first race.
So, the first race of the day today at Thruxton, we've got the Touring Car Championship. So I'll do a quick rundown of we'll do the top bunch of people in the standings. So, at the moment Jack Ashton has 105 points. Mark Winwood, who's not here today, is on 82 points, as does Lewis Manley have 82 points, so he's here today. Chris Wilson's in 4th with 60 points, Matt Goodger-Scott with 58. Anthony Jordan, who's not here today, is got 54 points. Joint tied with Steve Boyce with 54. Matt Richards isn't here today, he's on 50. And then we've got Paul Day in 9th on 49, Stuart Goff on 41. So we had qualifying earlier. The guys have all been out there, they've been practicing. We've had a few car changes from qualifying through to the race. A few people that are in the BMWs have moved over to front wheel drive cars. But the results of qualifying, we've got Lewis Manley on pole position, who did a 112.8, so he's 2/10 clear, and he does have a lot of weight on his car as well. Second place, Scott Woodwiss, 113.0. He's got no weight on his car today. Jack Ashton with a full 75 kilo was in 3rd with a 113.1, so only a tenth, or less than a tenth of Scott Woodwiss, but with a full 75 kilos. So that's an extra person sat in the boot. So he's going to be one to watch out for today. Matt Goodger-Scott in 4th place, about 4/10 back on Jack's time. Dave Hedges, a new entry. He's in 5th in the BMW, Steve Boyce in 6th, Colin Talbot in 7th, Ben Turner, who was here just a moment ago, is starting on 8th for the first race. This is Simply Race Touring Car debut, so we'll see how he gets on. There you go, you can see him now. Really nice car there. And then in 9th place, Chris Wilson, 10th place, Sean King, 11th Connor Hamilton, 12th Johnny Wilkinson, and 13th Shamek Kledek. So the guys are just going round on their formation lap at the moment. So we'll join them around this really fast circuit. Now a few of the guys have been saying about tyre wear, it's going to be critical at this track. Ben went out in practice just to do a long run to make sure he can look after his tyres. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys get on. They're coming round to the final chicane now. We're here on YouTube, Facebook Live, and also the Virtually Entertained Twitch. So follow us on one of those, and we'll keep an eye on the comments, keep you updated. Let us know your thoughts, share, all the standard really. Got a few people watching on Facebook already. So hello to Rob Cuss, Ben Turner's watching. Although I think that's just his laptop next to me. A few other guys. Rob Cuss is saying a bet on a crash. Yes. I think a crash is likely to be, it's very tight into that first chicane, but also at the end of the lap they've all been told about track limits. So there's race control are manually watching that last corner, and if cars are taking liberties too much with the track, they will be given penalties for that. So they've all had laps disallowed in qualifying, just to make sure. But they all look like they're lined up on the grid. You can hear the lights going in the background. And they're off. So Lewis Manley's got a good start, Jack Ashton behind him. So let's see as this shapes out. There's a little bit of bunching towards the back, but oh no, we've got Sean King going off in the background. Ben Turner's binned it. Not quite sure what happened there. But into the first corner, it looks like, yep, Lewis Manley's got the lead. Jack Ashton challenging round Scott Woodwiss on the outside. And we've got Dave Hedges there in 4th place. So now don't forget, Scott Woodwiss has a lighter car than either of these other two at the front. So Jack's got 75 kilos on him and his car. Lewis Manley's got 57 kilos. so they're going to struggle more with their tyres as this race goes on. And we can see Jack there, Scott's kind of all over the place, but I think Jack's going to hook up the inside, and they are side by side through this really fast section of track as they go through Church. Hopefully they leave each other space. Yep, they both seem, but I think Jack's going to get right in the toe here, see if he can challenge. He doesn't want Lewis scampering away in the lead because they are both battling for the championship. They come through the chicane for the first time, and yeah, Scott's run wide off the track. Jack's through, simple. And then we've got Shamak there in the chicane. He's had a little bit of a spin. Now let's see whether Jack can chase down. You see the gap between Ashton and Manley's 2.4 seconds already. It's coming down slightly as they bunch through the first chicane, but Lewis has had a perfect start and scampered away. Steve Boyce has made ground. He's up to 4th place, with Connor Hamilton in 5th and Chris Wilson in 6th. So yeah, this track, it's so fast, and it's we can hear some shouting in the background. I think there's been a little bit of an incident further back. You can see Goodyear Scott falling down the order. He's dropped down to the bottom, so I'm not quite sure what's happened there. We might be able to get a replay. I can see, I think there's going to be one coming up. Right, here we go. So what's happened here? So Matt Goodyear Scott, he's run onto the curb and he's sort of come across the track, and he's been collected by Colin, his teammate. That is not an ideal situation for those two Camsport cars. But back up at the front in the 130 Racing blue Toyota Avensis, chasing down Lewis Manley in the red Toyota Avensis. So the only difference between these two is the weight, and you can see Jack's dropping Woodwist already. 1.6 seconds the gap's extended to between those two. And we've got this white car here, it's Dave Hedges. He is in 7th place behind Wilson, so I think he's just dropped down. We see Alison Wilkinson on Facebook saying, "That's good fun, Johnny Wilkinson and Connor Hamilton." I think they are having quite a good fun. And we've got, this is Johnny Wilkinson behind Ben Turner with Sean King behind him. So he's in the Rob Austin Avensis from last year, just so we could tell him apart on the stream. So yeah, some of these cars look fantastic. The guys here have done a brilliant job of the paint work, including some of the guys that made the cars in the first place. That car, really realistic in comparison to the real life. But King's looking like he's pushing on. He's got right in the slipstream of Wilkinson. Is he going to? He's moved up the inside. Can he outbrake him into the chicane? So he's going to the outside. There's a lot of curb there by Turner, and King just about squeezes through. Wilkinson has to take to the curb, but you can see he's braked, sort of conceded that position so he doesn't get penalised by the stewards. Oh, I think, yeah, and Ben Turner's dropped down, but he's now challenging, trying to get his place back. So yeah, and back live again. I think that's what happened there. So these three are all starting to spread out. The gap at the front, Lewis Manley is stretching that gap over Jack Ashton. Lewis, obviously one of the previous touring car champions here. He is constantly towards the front of the grid. Always well prepared. Very quick driver as well. Now we've seen a few of these guys running just slightly wide as they go through the back part of the circuit. As they get onto the grass, it's a very long way back onto the track. So these guys, when they finish the first race, they will grid up based on this order, but they'll have the weight reapplied. So the winner will get 75 kilos, and then it'll be 60 something for, I can check that, hang on, 66 kilos for the guy that finishes second, 57 for the guy that finishes third. So I think for Lewis Manley and Jack Ashton, they're used to the weight now. They've done most of the season with it. Scott will be experiencing the weight for the first time, but Jack Ashton he's taken a few tenths out of Manley, but he's stretching that gap now 1.5 seconds back. So Ken Fuller, this is R Factor 2, yes. using the one of the touring car mods that are available, and Thruxton. So yeah, the track is very fast. I know a lot of people do ask us what sim this is, because for some reason when they play our Factor 2 it doesn't quite look as pretty as what we've got it here. But we have spent quite a lot of time honing our craft here. And we're looking back from Manley. See Ashton, just the gaps still seem to be increasing. Manley hasn't made a mistake all race so far, so they've got a 20 lap race, they're on lap 6 now. Let's have a look on YouTube. Got quite a few watchers on there. Say hello, get involved with our channels on follow. I can hear one of the advantages of this all being in person here at Simply Race is you can hear the screams behind us when someone gets a bit disappointed if they've made a mistake or gets annoyed with another driver. So what do we have here? It's a static camera. Let's see, what are we looking for? Hamilton was a little bit wide there in that BTC Norling car. Here comes Ben Turner through. Sean King, Johnny Wilkinson, and Shamek all over the curbs on 2 wheels. Beautiful. Then we've got the 2 Cam Sport cars here who have dropped off the pace a little bit. Now you will see Colin Talbot in one of the other races today. I believe he's on pole position for the first USF 2000 race, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. He's doing double stints today. Some of the other drivers are racing in more than one race as well, so it'll be good to see how they adjust from these front wheel drive, which the majority of the field are here, are in the front wheel drive cars, and the rear wheel drive of the USFs, and we are going to have the Clios, which have been fantastic racing, very hard fought all season long, so we'll get that as well. I think Manley, the gap is starting to decrease slightly. Ashton, he'll be playing the long game slightly. He knows he's got the championship lead at the moment. The gap between them, you've got Jack Ashton on 105 points, Mark Winwood and Lewis Manley on 82 points. Now Mark Winwood is ill today, so he has not been able to make it. That's going to have a massive dent in his championship chances, but Lewis is going to be happy. He can make some inroads into Jack. I mean, these two, they've been battling for 3 seasons in the touring cars against each other. This is technically the 4th season of it. They know each other well. They've been constantly battling. I think we've got some, you can see on one of our other cameras, we're about to get a replay up. And let's see whether that plays through for us. The field have stretched out. The closest gap is probably Boyce and Woodwiss at the moment. Yeah, Boyce has made it up to 3rd place, so Woodwiss has made a mistake somewhere, but it looks like he's right on the tail. Here you go, you can see him here. Woodwiss in that Royal Navy inspired car. Woodwiss in the, Boyce in the blue and white Focus. So what's this replay of? So this is Johnny Wilkinson. He's just run out wide, got a wheel on the grass, and round it goes. There's not really any margin for error. No, I think he's been a little bit caught out there. He couldn't drive it off, so he's had to turn back round and rejoin. Let's go back live to this battle between Boyce and Woodwiss. Now, it's only a couple of tenths behind them. Let's see, Woodwiss looks like he's going towards the inside. He has thrown it up. Can he stop it? Can he get over the curbs? Yeah, if anything, Boyce just gave him too much room there. Just gone after you and let him back through. So let's see how this pans out over the next few laps. We're on lap 9 now. The gap at the top still staying about the same, 2 seconds. Then the interval back to these two is 6 seconds now from Ashton. So whereas these two have started battling, it's allowed those front two to just break away. So I would imagine, unless we see some major controversy or incident, that they're both going to stay in that position. But in the background I can see Wilson and Hamilton are side by side, only a tenth of a second behind them. We will see how that There we go. So Wilson in the purple car, Hamilton in the BTC Norlin car. Right behind one another. They take slightly different lines there, but I think as long as you can stay in the tow, your best overtaking opportunity, unless someone makes a mistake, is going to be into the last chicane. They go through Church now. Hamilton does run onto the curb a little bit, but I don't think that will have affected him too much. And then you've got this heavy braking zone. But I can see Boyce is back into third place. What's Woodwis done? He's dropped down, but there we go. Hamilton's made a little mistake there and just allowed Wilson through. But Hamilton's been very fair. He hasn't tried to shortcut the chicane or anything. He's slowed down, held the brakes, and allowed it. So Scott just drives on the grass. That's definitely not the way to be quick round Thruxton. And I think what that's done, he's lost all that momentum. So Boyce can just come up behind him. They go through Church. Easy pickings there. Does get pushed or squeezed a little bit wide. Doesn't want to make it too easy for him, but Boyce is through. And they've swapped back position-wise. So again, gap at the front, 2.3 seconds, staying the same, pretty much. I think Manley and Ashton are so evenly matched. The only time we're going to see them narrow down the gap between them is if they have tyre wear issues at the end of the race. But if they're not being put under pressure, I imagine they're both backed it off slightly, holding that gap. I mean, you've got 8 seconds. Boyce is behind Ashton now, so Ashton will be looking in the looking on the time delta. He'll realise that there is that gap. And we're focusing now on Hedges, who's in 10th place. So Shamek Glodek in that beautiful car, that beautiful Ford Focus. That's modelled on his real-life MG Metro Cup car. Team purple helmets. Beautiful paint job done by Dean Prescott, our producer. Definitely the best-looking car on this grid, I think. Although the Virtually Entertained one's nice as well, but I am biased. And is this another move? They just swap positions again. I think that's just a replay from earlier. Woodwis is a couple of tenths behind Boyce, so it looks like they're swapping position quite a lot. So got to see, got a few more people watching. Hi Chris King. If you guys on Facebook, if you do want to watch it in full 1080p 60 frames per second, we have put a link to our YouTube stream, which is high quality. That Woodwis running wide again onto the grass. He's kept it together that time. But yeah, as I was saying, best quality YouTube or even our Virtually Entertained Twitch channel. Facebook does butcher the quality slightly, but we'll put it out on all channels. Why isn't Ben Turner hitting any apexes, Martin DC? It's an interesting question, Martin. Why don't you come to the venue and show Ben Turner how it's done? We always see you on the streams giving us some tips. I think we all want to see you come and drive a car here. There's no excuse. We've got another endurance round coming up. How about pop over for a go in one of the touring cars, Clio Cups? I think we're all quite keen to see how you'd get on. But Ben, in that Virtually Entertained Avensis, on his debut in the Touring Car Championship. Last weekend he had his debut in the Endurance Series, coming in 5th place with both me and Dean. With a bit of a strategy there. Don't bin it, keep it on track. But yeah, I think he's finding this grid quite challenging. He did poke fun at me after I drove this car in the first round at Brands and got similar sort of results, and he was like, why didn't you do better? But it's a strong field. The guys at the front, Manley is on fire now. He's over 3 seconds now. It's fluctuated a little bit there, but 3 seconds over Ashton, and then there's 7.5 seconds back to Boyce in 3rd, who's the blue and white Ford Focus that we're seeing at the moment. And then lights on, Scott Woodwis wanting to get that podium back. So he's dropped down from 2nd place to 4th. Boyce has been the biggest climber. I'm just going to check his qualifying position. Boyce started in... No, sorry, there's standings. Right, practice on. Boyce started in 6th place, up to 3rd. Good showing from him. Lewis Manley started on pole, still in first. Woodwith started second, down to fourth. Wilson's climbed up from 9th place up to 5th, so a good effort from him. Hamilton's up from 11th. Turner started 8th, now in 7th. King's climbed as well, from 10th up to 8th. Glodex climbed from 13th up to 9th, and then we've got Hedges that's dropped down from 5th. Goodger Scott, the biggest faller I think, down from 4th. Started in 4th, down in 11th. Talbot started 7th, down to 12th, and Wilkinson started 12th, down to 13th. So, yeah, Shamak didn't actually qualify. He didn't set a time, or a time that was allowed. But it could have been that he did set a time, and the race stewards had a word with him about corner cutting. So, everyone on the stream? I think I probably should call it now. Manley has driven away with this. He's had a good effort. Here we go. You can see his red car, Ferrari inspired. Lewis, obviously a massive Ferrari fan. And he wanted a car that represented it, and you could just see in the background Ashton in that blue Avensis, just tailing off slightly. So, and then you've got one of the other Avensis. There does seem to have been a gravitation towards Avensi in this championship. So we've got a bit of a battle here coming up. Hamilton in the BTC Norlin Chevrolet. Turner in the Virtually Entertained Avensis. Sean King in the Sean King Chevrolet. Let's see whether Turner can get his act together. Get past Hamilton. Go through turn 1. Look back from Hamilton. Can just about run wide onto that first corner, and it's a heavy braking zone down to probably second gear. So you want a bit of curb on the inside there. You see Turn had a little bit of a wiggle, bit more curb, and then you want to get out wide for this corner to maximise the speed you can carry onto the straight. And then from here on, it's pretty much full throttle. I think you have a little bit of a lift in these cars. This will all be full throttle through here. Again, full throttle. Probably a little lift around here, back on the power. Keep it off that grass. It does suck you in, and if you go onto the grass, onto the right hand, well, it would be left hand side, right hand side of our screen, it's a long way back. And then again, flat out through Church, into the heavy braking zone of the chicane. I can hear in the background Ben Turner's pod. There's a bit of resonance coming from the butt kicker when he's flat out at the top end of the rev range. So he is driving this flat out at the moment, trying to. So we've got a replay here of Glodek and someone off on the grass. It's a long way back, but you can see you go on the grass a little bit. It costs you time, and then it's hard to get it back. So that was King, I think. Oh, who's that? Is that Turner? Has he made a mistake? No, oh, it's Hamilton. Okay, I'll let Connor off. Apologies, Connor. I thought we'd seen our illustrious leader, Ben Turner, been in it, which I think we've all tuned in to see. So Turner's down to 8th place, so Glodek's got up. So, let's see. Right, so this is Turner here. Connor goes wide. Oh, okay. That probably wasn't cool. I think that was a pretty unsafe rejoin. I think we'll let Turner off this. It's not his fault. He's not far behind Glodek, so let's see if he can catch up. But here we are back watching Ashton chasing down Manley in the red Toyota Avensis. But it looks like they've got they've got Wilkinson in between them. I wonder if he's been in the pits to get some tyres, if he's shredded them. But the gap between Manley and Ashton is up to 7 seconds now, and Boyce is only 3 seconds behind Ashton, so what's happened there? Ashton's lost 4 seconds on the previous lap. And it seemed to be growing as well. Let's see if we can get our producer on the case to see what happened there. I wonder if he's been caught out by a back marker. Has he run a little bit wide? Has he had to take it easy through the chicane? Let's try and work out what happened there. He's just lost her. We'll run that through. Let's focus on Glodek at the moment. He's got a big gap behind Woodwiss, who's he's down to 5th now. So Boyce doing well in P3. I wonder if he can make it up to P2. Although there's only 2 laps left now, 3 laps really. So they start lap 8, or Glodek starts lap 18. Well, that is a beautiful paint scheme. So it's been pretty easy this race, I'd say, for Manley. This is exactly what he wanted, to try and overhaul that 30-point deficit he was facing on the championship. So just a few more tours round this Hampshire circuit. In the lap times, I think we're doing sort of 1:12s, 1:13s maybe. I can have a look on our live races. Now we do have live timing available. If you go to simplyrace.liveraces.com, you can check the progress of all the guys, where they are on track, what's going on, how they're getting on. Best lap of the race is Ashton with a 13.388. Yeah, Boyce has overtaken Ashton. So what has happened there? Has Ashton's tyres fallen off the cliff? Just seen here King having a little bit of a wobble. Rejoins, Turner's past him. Turner's smoking his tyres as well. That's not going to be helping his tyre wear. But do we know what's happened to Ashton? He's plummeted down the order. Something's happened here. His last lap is the 3rd sector, 31 seconds compared to 25. So it's all fallen apart. This is great news for Lewis Manley. I don't think he's going to know until he finishes the race. I think he's going to assume that it's Ashton behind him. So Ashton goes through the last corner. You see a car off. His tyres are dead. He's had to pit. He's had to come in for new tyres. So is that a consideration for the rest of them? Manley. Oh, it's a drive-through penalty, we think. Possibly a corner cut. I don't know if race control have made any decisions, but Ashton safe in 2nd place, slap with a drive-through. So we'll have to try and work out where that's occurred or why. But that's massively affected Ashton's race. It's almost as if Lord Alan Gow has swung his hammer. Keep the championship close. So Ashton behind Wilson, he's going to be on new tyres, he's going to be flying, he'll be past this lap. He's not going to have a chance to catch up with Boyce. So I think Ashton P3 for him. I guess it's not catastrophic, but it's not ideal. See Anthony Jordan join in. Anthony, why are you not here? We've had to give your car to Scott Woodwiss. Why are you not driving? You should be here. Oh, Ashton's gone off the road again. Been caught behind the... that is not ideal. So, is this the finish line? Lewis Manley moves across, the flag flashes, he's flashing his lights, he's happy. Race 1, 1 win for Manley already. 75 kilos of ballast for the next race. And then we've got Ashton and Woodwiss. Woodwiss very forceful block in. Can Ashton get the run out of the last corner? He's behind him. I don't think he's going to be able to. No, Woodwiss shuts the door. So, the drive-through penalty did not help Ashton. We'll get him up here. I think we all want to know. And then we've got, that's Wilkinson 1 lap down. Turner crossing the line in 7th. King in 8th. 9th Hedges, and then Talbot, Matt Scott did not have a great race after that collision at the start. But yeah, that was a bit different. So So Anthony, we have spare pods. Come and reclaim your place in the championship. There's still 2 races left of the day. I think we all want to see some acrobatics again. So I think we'll probably get some of the guys up to have a chat to us. Probably get Lewis up for a discussion. Maybe Steve Boyce and Chris Wilson. P3. Not a bad result from him. And then we'll be going for the first Clio Cup race for the day. These are always frenetic racing. Clios are so evenly matched. You see the guys getting out their pods right now. We'll see who we can get up to have a discussion with us. And then we can get, Race Control Simply Race, they'll get the pods all ready in the Clios for the next race of the season. We'll be back shortly.
Am I going to hear you through here?
Here we go. You're now live on TV.
Excellent.
So we're joined here with Steve Boyce, P2 that race. How did you find it?
Yeah, not too bad. Got an alright start. It's BMW. Had to get past. Managed to hang around in 4th, I think it was. Had Woodwish in front of me. Made a little error. Went past.
Yep.
Just got in my own race from that point, really. And then Jack got a drive through.
Yeah. Did you see what for?
Track limits. That's all I know.
Did you hear it over the radio or?
Yeah, Mike's. I think pretty much everyone got track limit warning.
Right. Okay.
At least everyone. So yeah, just kept on track really. And
yeah, we just saw Jack drop down the order. He almost came back to P4, but you must have been sat there going, brilliant.
Yeah, I tried to just manage it really.
Yeah. How were your tyres?
I don't know, to be fair.
No, you didn't look.
I think they were yellow at the end.
Yeah.
There's no chance I was catching Manly, so I didn't see the point in
abusing
my tyres. Just got to the end and.
No, great result.
Got some points.
Lots of weight for the next race.
Yes.
You're going to have, I think it's 66 kilos.
66?
So, yeah,
oh my.
P2, 66 kilos. So yeah, you're going to have yourself in the boot to drag round for the next race.
Yeah, effectively, yeah. That'll be right.
Starting on the front row. Yeah, good effort. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Whoa. I think we're going to get our race winner Lewis Manley with us now. Here you go, Lewis. Congratulations. That looked like a very easy win for you there.
Indeed, absolutely. Car was excellent all the way, to be honest. The start was alright, but Scott Willis had a real good get-up because we were side by side going into the first corner of the Campbell Common Seagrey. And then I had a slight later braking, so therefore I got ahead and then I continued to pull away. No track limits at all whatsoever because I heard the others had some. And I controlled the gap and really happy with the result and won comfortably.
Yeah, I was going to say, we saw the gap. You got it to about 2 seconds rather quickly. It stayed at that a little bit and then you just started pulling away. And then when obviously Jack disappeared for his drive-through, you must have just been sat there managing tyres, being happy. So that's definitely helped you out in the championship. I think there was like a 30 point, well, what's that? 23 points between you two. You've taken a nice chunk on the first race. Are we going to see 2 more victories? You obviously can manage the weight. It's quick.
Yeah, I hope so, because 75 kilos is obviously the weight I've got to carry for the next race. As Jack had his penalty for the track limit, so he only came 5th, so he's going to be lighter than me, so I expect him to still challenge in the race. It all depends if we get clear at the first corner and the first lap, so I've got to do the same as what I can, and as I heard Jack had the track limits, I can manage the car home, look after the tyres and not push too hard, so I was really delighted to win and get off to a good start.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, and I'm sure we'll see you back up here later on in the day. Well done. Here we go. I'm going to get Jack Ashton. I don't know if you this. Wait, here we go. This is Jack Ashton. He's doing the whole hand thing, showing where he's been. He cut a corner, he got told off, and we want to get him up here to have a chat. There you go. He's chatting to Colin there, Matt Goodger-Scott, and Sean King. We get. He doesn't look too amused with me, but. Hi, Jack.
Hello.
Yeah, how did that race go?
Frustrating. That's all I can say. Yeah, it's just so hard. I mean, I got the first cut track, and I didn't know where the cut track was. So
yeah. Was it in the final chicane?
It's a chicane. I knew it was chicane, but because there's 3 corners in that chicane, I didn't know which one it was. So then the one I thought it was, I tried to change my direction of taking it.
Yeah.
And then that ended up messing up the next one, and then I get another cut track. But I wasn't sure again.
Were these automatic cut tracks or race control?
It's race control. Gives it me, so I don't know what corner it is.
Right,
so then, because I'm changing each lap, I weren't being consistent through the corners.
Yeah, so you have a
it's
little
just changing me all the time.
Yeah.
And then I just get cut.
So did you get? Was it 2 cut track warnings third time?
Yeah, and the third time, and then I got I drive through. End up putting it in reverse in the pit lane somehow.
Oh, no.
Really messed that up.
Yeah, we just
and then
suddenly saw you
tyres
disappear.
just really wrecked.
Yeah.
And I was pushing on to trying to get third at the end, and then just ran off and onto the grass.
If we look at the positives, first of all, Mark Winwood's not here. He's not very well at home at the moment. Hopefully he's watching, so get well soon, Mark.
Yeah.
Lewis has taken a bit of a chunk out of your championship lead. It was 23.
Is this now?
No, this is before the race.
Yeah.
So you were 23 points ahead. It's probably come down a bit now, maybe
Yeah.
by 5-10. However, you've got a lot less weight for the next race.
Yeah.
And Lewis is going to have a full.
It's going to be easier on the tyre.
Yeah. So if you can get a clean start, keep out of any carnage.
Absolutely.
I'm sure it's not over for this weekend. And then
yeah,
also
I'm not. I mean, it's a learning curve for that chicane thing, but in practice and qualifying, I didn't get any cut tracks at all. So
Yeah.
I thought I was all alright, and then it come race, I had to completely change my driving style because I was getting cut tracks. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we'll let you go and have a quick break.
Yeah, thank you.
I think we're going to have Ben Turner join us again. I don't know if you want to join in for some Clio Cup. There you go.
I'm starving.
If you want to do some commentary a bit later.
Is that next? Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Jack. And we are going to welcome Ben Turner back to commentary box because I need to move on to my next job of the day, which will be producing the cameras for the Clio Cup with Sean King.
I'm sure you do a great
Dean
job.
goes to win a race, I hear.
Yep.
But Ben, first of all, you can see here Martin DC has asked why you're not hitting any apexes. I extended an invitation to Martin for him to come over and show you how to hit an apex.
I mean, I thought I hit most of the apexes.
Yeah, I didn't see many you weren't hitting. I noticed you did.
There was a couple I missed.
There was an unsafe rejoin by someone that set you back.
Yeah, it was kind of helpful. He did apologise afterwards.
Yeah.
Said it was a passenger.
I
think he could have put on the brake, but
Yeah.
that was definitely gaining him at that time. So everything put him under a bit of pressure.
Yeah.
Shame we didn't get some real proper wheel-to-wheel action. And
I don't think it was a catastrophic performance.
No.
So it was your Simply Race touring car debut.
I would have at least been 6th.
Yeah.
Without that contact. And certainly there was some contact at the start as well. Matt Goodger-Scott.
Yeah, we saw. It looked like Matt and Colin had a bit of a.
Right, is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, and I couldn't quite work out who it was that spun and who hit who.
Yep.
But obviously,
yeah,
it's not ideal.
Bit of a passenger really on that one. And the thing is, with these front-wheel drive cars, once they are when they've got cold tyres, you've got so little that you can do to adjust without spinning. So it's kind of, you can get onto the brakes, but there's only so much you can do really.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was a good race. It was really, really fun. I mean, the guys are super consistent. Oh, hello, we're on screen. I should have prepared my hair.
Yeah, I thought I'd
go.
surprise you a little bit there. I'm not sure if I've moved the table slightly.
We're slightly out of focus.
Yeah,
is that right?
Might have to adjust
we'll
that.
Readjust. But yeah, the race itself was actually quite fun. I think now we've had a few mistakes, I think we'll get better and better towards the rest of the day. The touring cars are probably the most difficult around this track.
Yeah.
Most of them are front wheel drive, and there's a lot of...
just got a slight camera adjust there.
There we
Sorry
go.
about that, which just gets back
Moving
into
around.
focus. You look at our beautiful faces and dashing hair.
Just got to check that it's okay. Oh no, it's a bit out of place. Yeah, the touring car is definitely hardest. So you've got front wheel drive, got the higher speeds, lots of torque steer as well. So when you come on the gas, it's pulling to one side if you're turning. My front left at the end of the race, I don't know if you spoke to the other guys about what their tyre wear was like. I think I had 12% remaining.
Ooh, yeah.
But then that was a mixture of me having some incidents with other people,
Yeah.
and also, you know, me being probably slightly too aggressive on tyres. Both fronts were quite low. The rears are absolutely fine. So trying to work out a way to try and use those rears more, so we've got a bit more balance going on. But I think I would have struggled for any more laps, because you probably saw that Dave Hedges was coming on strong towards the end.
Yeah.
He definitely would have got me one more lap for sure. As it stood though, he made a mistake by trying to look around the outside of Church, and then Sean managed to take advantage of that. And yeah, really difficult circuit, Thruxton, trying to time your passes and think about where you can overtake. It's mainly the two chicanes.
Yeah.
Hard to make anything happen anywhere else, and trying to use the draft.
I mean, I'm going to have a different challenge to you later with the F2000s,
Yeah.
which I kind of have a whole different problem around this track.
Yeah.
Where they're a bit of a downforcey car, but there's not a huge amount of downforce. There's a lot of mechanical grip.
Yeah.
So around the back of the track, you're really on a fine edge, and it's so easy to wash out, hit the grass, and off you go. So I think we've got a different challenge, but we shouldn't have any track limits, because you can't really hit the curves.
No.
So
And there were a lot of warnings. You can't hear them on the broadcast,
No.
but the race control were being quite strict on track limits. So lots of warnings going out. Obviously, Jack Ashton was one that fell foul,
Yes.
but he did receive at least three warnings from the race directors.
He explained to us that he wasn't sure where he was getting the warning.
Right.
So
sure.
when he started adjusting his line, he then started to suffer, because he was then making other mistakes.
Sure. So it's a good opportunity for him now to talk to the race directors whilst the clears go out, and find out exactly where he can improve and make sure that he doesn't make that mistake again.
Well, it's starting to sound like the Clios are getting
Yes.
ready, so I'm going to give you current championship stand-ins.
Thank you
and
very much.
the grid for race 1.
Fantastic.
Whilst I just dash off camera and then click a button to get
Great. So yeah, we'll look through the grid whilst Darren gets himself ready to the production desk for this race. For race 1, Francis Harold is starting on pole position alongside his teammate Eduardo Malhano Bittencourt. John Curry will start in 3rd. With Cyril Jackson 4th, David Robertson in 5th, Bren Brown in 6th, Scott Woodworth starting in 7th, Harry Whedon in 8th, Erwin Compass in 9th, James Whedon in 10th, and Jason Eccles in 11th. We then also have at the back of the grid our very own Dean Prescott, who has had a good 5 minutes of practice, so I'm sure he'll be fine. Clios so far this season have been excellent. They've been very, very close together in terms of just results. All of the races have been really close. It's always great to see the Clio racing. The way the championship standings are at the moment, Nathan Burton is at the top, but you may have noticed he's not actually in the standings list for today. I think Nathan's ill or something. I might be slightly out the loop there, but so he will surrender his championship lead. Dean Prescott's on 43 points, David Robertson on 42, Harold in 40, Harry Whedon on 40, Ben Brown on 40, James Holland on 40. He's got 4 drivers on 40 points. Then we've got Erwin Compass on 39 in 8th, Chris Sainsbury in 36, unfortunately unable to make today as well. John Curry 34, he did miss a round, John Curry, so that's actually quite impressive. And then we've got Gavin Bonney 11th, James Whedon 12th, Cyril Jackson in 13th, Eduardo Bittencourt is our front row in 13th and 14th in there. And they missed a round as well, so that's why they are so far down. Jason Eccles in 15th and Ian Redmond in 16th place. My understanding is that they are just about to head out for their warm-up lap, so we'll be joining them very, very shortly. As always, I will be watching all of the comments live on Facebook and YouTube, so if you are with us, please feel free to leave us a comment about whether the racing or any questions you may have about the event, Simply Race or anything else. I will do my best to answer those questions. So if you are on Facebook, by the way, it's worth clicking on. There's a link that's pinned to the top that has the link to the YouTube stream. We definitely find that the YouTube stream is much better. You can see there on your screen, Mike Gow and Ben Mangair today on race control. Mike Gow, the race director, Ben Mangair, assistant race director. His first Ben Mangair's first experience of a championship here at Simply Race. So, as I was saying, if you are on Facebook, please click through to YouTube, and it will give you a better experience, and you'll be able to see at 1080p and 60 frames per second, or limited to just 720p, and it generally gets a little bit stuttery on Facebook, unfortunately. So it's worth switching over if you can. And we've got our 12 cars going on their warm-up lap. Who's that we are focused on? I think that is John Curry. There you go. Oh, there we go. You can see it on the window. So that's John Curry. He was covering one of the other cars last time he was racing his championship. So a new fresh livery for Mr. Curry. And I'm looking forward to yet another fantastic round of the Clio Cup Championship as they come through Church Corner, and Harold is warming up his tyres. On the left hand side you've got the interval between drivers. It's not front to the leader, it's between that driver and the person in front. So I believe we've just got a bit of a false start, just a slight technical issue, one of the simulators. So to bear with us a second, they're just gonna, the technical team are gonna have a look at that. Oh, there you go, you get my beautiful face instead of some excellent racing. That's probably not what you're looking for. It's where are we? Let's have a look. Who is on the? Sorry, I'm on the wrong one. Who's on the live chat? Let's see if we can get you guys engaged whilst we're waiting for this one. So just looking back at some of the old comments, actually, because I missed the first race, of course. Just to confirm to Ken Fuller, yes, this is R Factor 2 for sure. This is R Factor 2, the only software we run at Simply Race, for various reasons. We've already covered the Martin DC asking why I didn't hit any Apexes, and that's probably lack of talent, but I think I got most of them. Rob Cuss, I think I said Ben, meant to say Ben Crash, and that did happen. So like I say, guys, do feel free to send in any comments that you have throughout, of course. I'm just looking at the side now. I'm on one of the other screens. It looks like we're going again, so fingers crossed there's no more technical issues at all. Unfortunately, one of the pods lost force feedback, but it did take them quite a while to work that out, so we will give them a little bit of spare time. I do really like those blue wheels on David Robinson's car. They just really stand out, and the way you can tell the difference between the two 130 racing cars that look almost identical is that Dean Prescott is in the one with the pink wheels. It says Cripps on the side as well. Oh, Dean. Oh, right. Okay, hang on. So Dean is actually in Callum Cripps' car instead of Dean Prescott's. Okay, so it's orange wheels. Well, let's go with it. But he does normally wear the pink wheels, and that's how we see him shooting through the field. Starting from the back of the grid today, Prescott is essentially the championship leader, though. Second place at the moment, we've got one non-attendee who Nathan Burton starting, who is unable to attend today. He won't be joining us on the grid, so therefore Prescott will automatically move to the top. Although the championship positions are so tight, who knows what will happen. I believe we are finally pretty much ready to go. Last couple coming on. We've got some lights going on from the front row. Harold puts his lights on in his Clio. And the final drivers take their seats. We've got the green flags raised up high. And away we go. So, bad start from both of the teammates on the front row. Coming storming through is John Curry. John Curry turns the inside into turn 1. Means he's got the inside. Someone's backwards, and that's a HJM car. And somehow most of the others avoid it, but one of the drivers is coming back on the circuit. I'm not sure what's happening there, but certainly at the front we've got Curry. Oh no, Curry, Bittencourt come together, and I think that's going to allow Harold to come back through. Who's that? That's Jason Eccles, who is in 2nd place. So all of that chaos has allowed Eccles to get into 2nd. He was down, I believe, in 11th place at the start. So what a mega start for Eccles. Harold's now got away at the front, 1.6 seconds ahead. And this is Scott Woodwis we're focusing on. He's driving in Chris Sainsbury's car today, so the purple sector car. On the inside then goes that 130 car, which is Dean Prescott. So can Prescott make it stick up the inside of Church Corner, and they still go side by side, and 2 130 cars now tuck into each other and see if they can use each other as a slingshot to get past Scott Woodwis. And down the inside he goes, hard on the brakes from Prescott. What a great move, and actually his teammate big crash ahead as well, and that was Bittencourt. So Bittencourt has certainly had a big moment there. Whether it was with someone else or not, I'm not too sure. There's been an action-packed opening race. We've still got 18 laps. Opening lap. We've still got 18 laps to go, or 17 laps to go. And here's a replay then. So a bit of a tap, an initial tap from, who's that white car? Okay, but and there was an initial tap and then a second tap there, so I'm sure the race directors will be looking at that particular incident. So I think that was Clumpers? No, it was one of the Whedons actually. One of the Whedons that made contact with Bittencourt. Bittencourt is now 7 seconds shy of everyone else. He is very quick, so we may see him on the back of the grid towards the end. But a big moment for Bittencourt, and unfortunately for him, but we've still got some fantastic racing still going on, and the draft battle continues, and that is Harry Whedon and John Curry, who had such a fantastic start and had some contact in the opening corner. They're just going side by side into the chicane, and this is a little bit further up the field. This is Robertson, and then we're back to Curry, sorry. So there is Curry, and he is not yet able to find his way past Whedon. Now following Ben Brown. I know Ben Brown has a loyal following on the Facebook and YouTube live streams, and he is currently doing well in 6th place. He's also not far off in the championship standings as well. He's currently in 6th place, so all the points he can get he will be grateful for, of course. There's only 3 points off the top of the championship order. Robertson, the car we're focused on, the 130 racing car. Is that someone going past Brown? I think it is. Clumpers goes down the inside, but he's now on the outside for the following corner, and there's not a lot of room on the outside there. Slightly more room than there was in the touring cars though with these Clios. Up the inside goes Clumpers again, and we've got one of bit of side contact, 3 abreast as they come out of Church. Oh no! Just a little bit of tap, and Ben Brown's managed to hold control, as has Clumpers. So those 2 remain on. It's Harry Whedon who was the casualty of that side-by-side contact coming out of Church, as they come across the line again to start lap number 4. Ben Brown under serious amounts of pressure from John Curry, and Curry was a race winner, I believe, last time out. And can he make a move up the inside? Not quite. And all about momentum this track, this very fast Thruxton circuit. And this is a little bit further up. We've got Prescott pushing hard. Prescott, of course, started right at the back of the grid, and he's now pushing hard to overtake Eccles. You can see how close the racing is. Lots of battles behind has really allowed Harold to get a fantastic 8-second lead. This is Ben Brown versus Curry versus Jax, and this is for 7th, 8th and 9th positions. And we're cutting a little bit further up. This is for the big boy positions, so 2nd, 3rd and 4th. We've got the two 130 racing cars going side by side, and Robertson makes his way past his teammate, and this is a battle between Eccles, Woodwist, Robertson, Prescott, and up the inside goes Woodwist. There's a bit of contact, and upside down goes Eccles. Oh dear. So, well, what happened there is that I believe there was just about enough space to put a nose in, but maybe Woodwist outbroke himself. We'll have to see what the race directors do about that one. Robertson, however, has moved into 2nd place. Woodwist in 3rd, Prescott is now 4th, Clumpers in 5th. So there we go. Now, actually, there's Prescott going up into 3rd place, Woodwist down to 4th. Bit of a queue behind these guys as well, actually. So Jax, Curry and Brown have got onto the back of this pack, and there's a huge amount of batting still to be done, with 5 laps down and 13 laps remaining. These Clios are so close around this Thruxton circuit. The guys are going to start worrying about their tyre wear, and tyre wear is super critical around this high speed zone. Up the inside, there's someone backwards. That's Ben Brown. That might have been on his own. No, someone else has gone off with him, and unfortunately for Ben Brown. And there's some contact between Curry and, oh my god, it's all going wrong now, isn't it? Unfortunately, a bit of bad spatial awareness there, I think, from a couple of drivers. And this is the battle for the 2nd, 3rd and 4th, side by side for the two 130 racing boys. Up the inside goes Prescott. He forces his teammate Robertson off the track, and I thought they were going to collect each other then as well. And I believe Scott Woodwist has just come in for a penalty. So race control, I believe, applied a penalty to Woodwist. There he is, driving through the pit lane very slowly. He's going to come back out behind Ben Brown, so 8th place minimum. I don't think that some of the other drivers would be too far away, Eccles in particular. So a real shame for Eccles. He was doing so well up in a personal best 2nd position, but now he's dropped all the way down to 9th place. This is the battle for 9th, actually. Eccles, Harry Whedon and Cyril Jax. Oh no, and again it's some people just need to give a bit of space, and I'm sure there'll be more penalties going on. The race control must be really struggling to keep up with the levels of penalties in this particular Clio race. For a shame, really. We had a really good start to the broadcast for this one, and this. Oh, I've just lost our timing, but I'll wait for that to come back. This is the interval between them. Oh, and we've got a picture, but it's the same picture. And there we go. That's the correct one. So this is the battle in the bottom right between Curry, Bittencourt and Whedon, I believe. So that is the battle for 4th place, and then in the main picture we are seeing the other Whedon, Harry Whedon and Cyril Jax. We'll swap that over now. So this is the battle for 4th place. On the inside goes Curry. Curry takes 5th. He's now looking on the attack for James Whedon. Such an important corner, and going slightly wide is John Curry, and you can see how much pace he loses out on the exit there, but he has got the inside to the next corner and forces the HJM racing car out slightly. They both a little bit out of position for the right-hander. Here's a replay then. This is the this is a solo effort, this. Tokyo drift from Jason Eccles, and I'm sure his tyres won't thank him for that one. Right, this is still the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, and there's 7th as well. So Ben Brown has suddenly come back onto the back of 7th place. Actually didn't lose that so much time as I thought then. And Ben Brown going round the outside. Is that someone going off as well? I think it is. That's John Curry. So John Curry goes off and there's a bit of contact. And John Curry loses 2 places in one fell swoop. And how's that HJM racing on the right hand side got the position? Oh, a bit of banging doors. And you've got Whedon in the way and there's a bit of contact. Oh no. Oh guys, you can let go of the accelerator. It's not just with a one-way pedal. Lots of people are just keeping their foot in there. So I'm not sure if maybe, to be fair, that car of Whedon's had possibly lost a little bit of control before a slight bit of contact with Curry. But when you're going so fast around this circuit, it does have such a big impact, just the slightest of knocks or the slightest loss of momentum, and then catching some of the other guys unawares on board then with Ben Brown. Ben Brown is up into 5th place despite dropping early doors. And this is Bittencourt in front. Sorry, we're on board with Bittencourt. Sorry, my apologies. We're on board with Bittencourt. Brown to the left-hand side then. Inside is Curry. Will Ben Brown be able to go around the outside of the final chicane? Probably not. It's going to be a difficult one. And you can see how much time is gained by Bittencourt in his car. And now Ben Brown is under pressure as they cross the line to complete their 9th. That we're halfway through this Clio race, the first of 2 Clio races today. Bittencourt desperate to gain some positions. Bittencourt did qualify on the not pole position, but on the front row in 2nd place, so he'll be keen to get a few more places before the end. He knows he's got the pace. Ben Brown just a little bit wide on the exit. Is that going to compromise him? And you can see just how close Bittencourt is now as they head through the back part of the circuit. Very tough to manage the tyre wear of these cars, the front wheel drive cars, throughout this 2.5 mile high speed circuit at Thruxton. We're going to see some people starting to struggle with tyre wear, and their lap times probably start to drop off as well. And Bittencourt now right up the backside of Ben Brown. He goes to the inside then, so to the inside of the chicane. No quarter given as Ben Brown breaks himself. I think he has. Bittencourt makes his way through, and Ben Brown's going to lose out quite a bit there. He's gone straight on, really scared out of position by the boisterous driving from Bittencourt, and Bittencourt moves up into 5th position then. So we are, oh, there's Ben Brown. I think he may have decided that his tyres are toast. Pits for a new set of tyres, and will continue once that is done. So who is on the move at the moment then? There's a few gaps opened up. Harold has opened a 14-second lead at the front. With everyone else battling behind him, he's been fortunate enough to build a very healthy lead indeed. And he will hopefully look to try and maintain that lead from his perspective. Prescott, I'm sure, is not letting up, but he's now a bit too far back for the 8 remaining laps to make anything happen. And Robertson is his closest competitor for 3rd, just a second behind him. No other real movers at this point, but perhaps Woodwiss. There's the 2-130 race. This is 2nd and 3rd, so Prescott and Robertson line astern in 2nd and 3rd positions. And then Woodwiss is the only other one who's sort of really starting to push another driver, Woodwiss and Bittencourt. Well, that's a battle for us to keep an eye on. After all that crazy excitement, I've not really been watching any of the comments on the live stream. Just wants to say hello to Andy Wittenberg, who says, I love Friday Night Unlimited with you guys. How can we get involved with race weekends like this? Well, all of the details for the SRBC, the Simply Race British Championships, as we go picture in picture with the 2 closest battles on circuit between Prescott and Robertson in the main picture, and Woodwiss and Bittencourt in your bottom right hand corner. Best way, you can go to simplyrace.co.uk/SRBC, or next time you're in, Andy, have a chat to the guys behind the desks. There are a few spaces remaining for the next round of the SRBC, and also some space remaining for the next round of the Simply Race Endurance Series, which is now not due until September, I believe. It's the first weekend, or sorry, second weekend of September, and that is in for the 12 hours of not Istanbul Park at all, Estoril. So it's a racetrack we haven't used since the original 24 hours here at Simply Race, the first ever one. I think we can see on your picture that Robertson is a bit closer than ever in the bottom right. I'm not sure if Woodwiss is really gaining, so we're watching Woodwiss in the main picture, but your bottom right battle is probably the closest of the two, down to 0.8 of a second. Although good exit there from Prescott, and he's trying to gain it. It is sort of seesaw up and down. It makes such a big difference, one exit, and easy to lose a lot of time very, very quickly. So we'll keep an eye on both battles. We are on lap 12 of 18. And I did mention a few times now that the lap times will start to come down as the drivers have a bit more tyre wear. And let's have a look and see sector-wise. Woodwiss is a bit closer, 1 second away from Bittencourt, and Robertson 0.7. Really need to just get a little bit closer, both of them, and they can be in the draft. And as they come out of that, the corner that these guys just come in the main picture, Church, they can get in a draft and really make a difference down the next straight. And both of these drivers going past Brown, who's already pitted for a new set of tyres and just going to use the rest of this session as a bit of a test for the remaining race today. It's a good plan not to give up and just keep going and learn what you can about the racetrack. You had a few incidents, Ben, and that does ruin your tyres quite significantly. But at least he can refocus for race number 2. And what I was saying about one little corner making a big difference, Robertson's gap is now back over 1 second. And Woodwiss's is also now increasing as well. Just one exit just makes such a huge amount of difference around this very, very fast race circuit. So how will this affect the standings then? It's worth mentioning that Francis Harold is currently in 4th in the championship with 40 points. And Prescott is 2nd with 43. So I believe those guys will be tied actually, because it's 20 points for a win and 17 for 2nd. So those guys will be tied at the top. Robertson is on 42, so he'll get 16 for this race. Oh, sorry, 15 for this race. And where am I? Yeah, he'll be just behind these guys. So these guys will pull away a little bit from some of the other drivers in the championship. Harry Whedon and Ben Brown have lost a number of points, as has Erwin Klumpers today. They are a little bit too far down to make much impression in the remaining time in this race. As the bottom screen goes on board then with Robertson, and that gap is now down to 0.5 of a second. And actually Scott Woodwiss is now very, very close to Bittencourt. Bittencourt get a really bad exit there, and Bittencourt comes to try and push Woodwiss to the outside. Not happening just yet, but he is off the faster racing line. You can see the grip and rubber down on the track. If you go slightly off of that, you do seem to struggle, and Woodwiss is definitely now in the slipstream, flashing the lights as he comes round towards Church Corner. Can he go up the inside? That's a bold move up the inside. No one wants to go off on the exit here, and they hold it side by side. And it's a drag race then as they head towards the final chicane, and they bang doors almost in a straight line. And lots of different approaches taken to this corner. Who is going to brake latest? Scott Woodwiss does. He does just manage to hit the apexes, and that's a very well executed manoeuvre. He moves up then into 5th position, so well done to him. I'm sure Bittencourt will been looking to make that place back. And with 3 laps to go, Woodwis moves up into 5th position. And the gap between these guys now is 0.3 of a second. Robertson still a solid 0.8 behind our second place driver Prescott. Harold enjoying a leisurely drive at the front in the lead of this race. Got away nicely after turn 2, and whilst everyone else has been banging doors, he's just been concentrating, setting lap times and looking after his tyres. So a well-deserved victory just from keeping his nose clean. As so often is the case, once you start banging doors with someone, especially at a high-speed circuit, just losing a couple of miles an hour does really add up over the 18-lap race that we're having here. And a little bit wide from Woodwis, and Woodwis is now going to put himself under pressure. And can Bittencourt make a move? He's gaining. Which way will Bittencourt go? He goes up the inside. There's not a lot of room there. Hard on the brakes from Woodwis. He's going to miss the apex, so is he going to be slow on the exit? He just about makes it, but he's still under huge amounts of pressure from Bittencourt. Woodwis just about closed the door in time there. It was pretty close between the two of them with 2 laps remaining then. Bittencourt looking to make a move up the inside of turn number 2. Not this time. Door gets firmly shut in his face. And this is the important bit, where all the speed is. Get all of the momentum coming out of this complex around towards the outside of the circuit, the back end, where no spectators are allowed. Cameras only. And Woodwis did quite a good job there of getting out the corner, and increases the speed and his gap slightly. Is Bittencourt still in the draft? He might be able to make the most of a draft through the last part of the circuit. He's only got 2 laps to make something happen, and gets a little bit out of shape, does Bittencourt, and hopefully we'll see him gaining in the bottom right, and you're on board on the nose cam. Hard on the brakes through the last chicane. It's not quite happened. Meanwhile, at the front, we've also got Prescott and Robertson quite close together, and that's what you can now see. Robertson is now ahead of Prescott, in fact. So something's happened there, and now Prescott is down into 3rd place, Robertson in 2nd, and you can see that in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. That's for 2nd and 3rd positions in this race. And very, very close indeed between those 2 drivers. I think we're going to switch to that battle now, and Prescott won't be happy with dropping that position, and he's going to push his teammate all the way. Let's hope there's no teammate contact between the two. And they come round the back part of the circuit. Coming through Church then. Is there space for Prescott to take a position back? He moves to the outside then. He's going to have to go the long way around the final chicane. And can he make it happen? He gets hard on the brakes. They both do. And Prescott's to the inside for the left-hander. Well done there from Prescott. He's still going to be under huge amounts of pressure. And this is the replay then. This is a big lunge from Robertson. He gets a lot of gets a bit of tyre smoke, a little bit of door banging, but a well executed manoeuvre, and congratulations to Prescott for making that position back up. I think we are on the final lap of the race here now as well, so this will be the one to settle it. And just to give you an update on the other battle we were watching between Bittencourt and Woodwis. Woodwis has now extended his lead over Bittencourt to 1.3 seconds. So this is our closest battle on circuit at the moment. And Robertson may be thinking about another do or die move into the final chicane. Towards Church they go. This is going to be so crucial. Who's going to be the one to slightly lift? Who's going to keep their foot planted? And they both seem to have done relatively well here, but Robertson's got a good run, I think, as we watch Harold come across the line to get a fantastic victory. almost lights the flag, but well done to him as we see the two drivers go side by side. Round the outside goes David Robertson. He is not quite able to make it, but a valiant effort. Good battle between those two 130 racing drivers. Prescott comes home in second, Robertson in third, Curry in fourth. Woodwiss is looking likely to come home in fifth. There is Curry for fourth, and here is Woodwiss, who's just going to come across the line before Bittencourt, and then we got the two Whedons behind them further 4 seconds down the road, and then we've got Clumpers, Jacks, Brown and Eccles. So another fantastic race in the Clios. They always keep us excited and on our toes throughout. Really close racing throughout certainly the start and the mid-section of the race. Probably a couple of drivers who maybe need to think about which way the pedals go when someone is slightly sideways in front of them, but I'm sure Race Control will be dealing with that as we speak anyway. So we've got a replay for you actually. This is after the checkered flag. That's not very sportsmanlike, is it? That's Bittencourt going into Scott Woodwiss. Maybe a little bit of afters after their close racing throughout. We are going to grab the top three drivers, hopefully. Fingers crossed. They're going to come and have a bit of a chat with us. Following that discussion, we are having the F2000 category, so it's the single-seaters today. And in that, our very own Darren Kirk will be competing, starting somewhere near the back of the grid. And I'm sure he'll be moving forward from there. I'm hoping I'm going to get a co-commentator. I think Mr. Ashton's going to join me for the next one, which will be wonderful. I normally have Mr. Mark Winwood, but he's polio today. So if you're watching, Mark, I hope you get better soon. We're going to take a very quick break, and we'll be back with you very shortly. So welcome back. Thank you so much for your patience if you stuck with us. I'm joined by Dave Robertson, who came 3rd place, almost a 2nd place in that last race in the clear. It was a fantastic battle between himself and his teammate Dean Prescott. It was a really great move that you made just two laps to go.
Quite bold.
It was bold. There was a bit of contact. I'm sure he won't thank you for it. I can see Dean smiling in the background.
But it also goes to show, just from points that Mike was making, you can race closely and give each other room and not crash and just ruin both your races.
Exactly.
It does show that you can. Bit of mutual respect, maybe.
100%. And
just lose a little bit and then get him on the next corner. You know, a bit more of a thinking man.
And one of the things that I thought that you guys, just to point out that what Dave was saying is that Michael, the race director, had a big chat with the Clio drivers immediately after that race and said, a lot of you guys aren't giving enough space, and actually kind of what we were talking about during the stream itself as well. And just some people, the pedal works both ways. You can lift off if someone's crashing in front of you. Give each other room, all that kind of stuff. But that you don't have to run drivers off the track. And I definitely support any penalties that kind of discourage that kind of behaviour.
Yeah, it would be nice to see that if the whole field could almost be doing that same kind of sort of place trading and sort of just really close battles. That would be great to see the whole field doing that. So it's a shame. Yeah, but no, good race apart from a hay fever.
Yes.
Sort of just trying to concentrate not to sneeze.
Yeah, we were just speaking about that before.
Scratchy inside of your nose. Mind.
We went live and do you know what? For some reason I haven't got too much hay fever today, but I'm bad.
It's very up and down, varies. Very.
And I always find that if I'm focusing really hard on something, I don't tend to get it. You kind of zone out the hay fever, which is really weird. It's an allergic reaction. You wouldn't think. Yeah. I think it's the concentration. You can really sort of push all that to the back of your mind and concentrate on what you do. The more you think about sneezing, the more you sneeze.
Sort of like a pain barrier, but it's not really painful. It's just something that you can kind of try and forget about and push through.
Absolutely. And how were your tyres? How were the tyres in those cars?
Not as bad as I thought. No. I thought they were going to be a lot worse. I think I had 47% on the front left.
Yep.
I thought they were going to be a lot lower than that, but I think just being sort of a bit more cautious, careful, actually managed to hang on a bit more. And I think even Dean noticed he sort of managed to hold a little bit of a better line. I think his tyres might have been just a tiny bit worse, just through some of the fast right-handers on the back of the circuit.
Yeah.
And you can just gain a little bit, but it's very hard following someone because it looks like there might be room, but there's not really any room. They're kind of the only places at the
really
end
tough on
the
this
chicane.
circuit in particular. I think to make that. There's only really 2 places you can overtake unless you're taking a risk.
Even
then, that's a risk. Even the 2 chicanes.
There's not a lot of room. It does sort of tends to sort of funnel in, so you really have to be very aware.
Yeah.
Much like the rest of the race, you have to be quite aware of everyone else around you. But it was good. Yeah, it was a good race. Yeah.
Very good.
Hopefully something similar again, maybe a bit cleaner, but.
Yeah, where have you qualified for the second race then?
5th, maybe.
Yeah. It's quite similar, isn't it?
I think some of the places changed. I think some of the track limits, they just sort of reviewed some of the laps, I think, potentially. But I think it was 5th again, so...
Fair enough. And I think there were a few post-race penalties applied by the shielding team.
Mainly the last chicane, just sort of with all 4 wheels.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Well, wish you all the best in your other race today.
Thank you very much.
You're only doing one more race, isn't it?
Just one more clear race. One more clear race.
Fantastic. I'm sure you'll be cheering on.
We'll be there watching everyone else, seeing how they all get on.
Your other teammates as well. Who else is racing from your team?
So you've got Chris Hardwick.
Chris Hardwick, of course.
Chris Hardwick in the USF.
In USF, which is our next race, and then we've got Jack Ashton.
Yes.
And Chris in the touring cars.
No, Chris
is not in the touring cars.
Chris isn't doing the touring cars.
I don't know why I haven't got any touring cars. Oh, I do. There we go.
It would have been Mark.
Yes, but Mark's
ill. He's not very well today, so get well soon, Mark.
We said hello to Mark. Hi, Mark. He's probably dying somewhere. Brilliant.
Man flu. It's terrible.
Man flu. Cool, brilliant. Let's have a... Can we have a chat with Dean? Dean's a producer. Can we make it a really short one? He can control the machinery from here, right? Telepathically. Oh, right, yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I'll just turn my mic back up for you.
The multitasking abilities of this Virtual Entertain team are incredible. So, hello Dean.
Hello.
Hello. We don't have a producer anymore, which is fine because everyone can
I'm
see
here.
us. Hello. Right. Start from the back,
Yeah.
and then I think you were like second within.
Third within. Coming down towards. Is it Castle? I don't
Yeah.
know. Is it Castle? The bomb hole. I call it.
Oh my gosh,
Before you
I've said
start
that.
coming back upstairs.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Upstairs.
It's not the bomb hole, but it's like the bomb hole
Yeah.
at Snetterton.
Yeah.
Church.
There you go.
Yeah, church. Right. So yeah.
Yeah.
So a pretty hectic race. I don't know if you saw all the crashing going on behind
Oh,
you.
I saw plenty of it.
Yeah.
I think I saw more chassis than I did
Yeah.
cars on 4 wheels in that race. which to be honest is surprising because it's normally me that's kind of in the middle of it all.
You had such a
Well-
good start that it enabled you to kind of get to the front where it was slightly cleaner.
Yeah.
You had a good battle with Dave though.
Yeah, it was a great battle. The first one I think I kind of forced him off a little bit, but
Yeah.
I missed my braking zone.
Yeah.
So I was sliding, and then he got me back at like 3 laps later.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same move, and then looked up and I saw, oh, 1 lap left. I better
Make
pull it
a
out of the
move.
bag. So got him on that lap,
Did
and then I saw him again coming.
Did
like
his
2 or 3 more times.
on the last lap? Yeah, you saw
Very
him
last
coming.
lap, yeah.
Did his original move kind of take you unawares a little bit?
I kind of knew where he was stronger because I could see that I was braking like earlier
Yeah.
than he was,
Yeah.
and I could see him catching up, and I was just matching the telemetry because I can't see the actual dash, so I have to have the telemetry on this
Sure.
one. And I could see that in the mirror he was just getting closer, further away, so it was just matching where I was stronger, get away as quick as I could, where he was stronger, just maintain it.
And tyre wise, you think you were
Tyre-wise,
struggling?
I was actually better on tyres than Dave.
Oh really? Okay.
But I couldn't work out through the long right-hander. He was
The
holding,
one before church.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was holding such a tighter, faster line than I was. I was just watching out,
Yeah.
so I was just, I don't know how he was doing that, but he
Magic.
was. So
Magic. It's magic. That's why.
I think it's his hay fever pushing him back in
Yeah.
towards the centre.
Yeah.
Although I do have hay fever, it's just not kicked off yet.
We're all suffering. Drugs test required. Yeah. How many antihistamines have you had today? Not sure if it's a competitive advantage or not, to be honest.
Could be.
We could do with grabbing Mr. Harold.
Yeah.
Should we swap you over?
Yeah,
we can
I'll-
go back and do your
I'll
road
go
job
back
now.
to do my actual job. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks to Dean. Francis, come take a seat, because I mean, to be honest, you probably didn't even break a sweat there. You got away. Oh, I mean, after turn 2, I think it was.
Yeah, I mean, I got a terrible start, as expected.
yeah.
I can't get these clears off the line for some
Yeah.
reason. I knew it was going to be mayhem, so I got a bit lucky, at the second corner when Eduardo took out John.
Yes.
And then I saw it about 2 seconds, and it sounds like I missed a cracking race.
Well, there was a lot going on.
I was just,
Just looking
managing
after
my own
tyres.
stuff. Yeah, like tyre wear was non-existent really. Keeping off the curbs and just like looking at the gaps and hearing the screams behind me. So
Yes, there were plenty of screens going on.
Yeah,
so
there were.
I mean, even from me, just commentating on it, it was. I think by like lap 6 or 7, you had about 8 seconds or so. By
Yeah.
the end, it was about 16 seconds.
yeah, I kept on seeing it going up, and I couldn't believe it.
I think that's the biggest lead we've seen
Yeah.
this year, especially in the clears.
I was not expecting to pull away in the clears. I was expecting, because I mean, slipstream's not huge; it's about 2 tenths a lap, but
Yep.
it's just enough to keep you in there.
Sure.
And the chicane, you can gain and lose so much time, like
Yep.
on the curbs.
Sure.
It's pretty much where the lap's made.
Yeah.
But you've just got to. I was just taking it easy from the first lap onwards, because I saw I had a 3-second lead, and I knew there was going to be battles back there. So I was just got to play it cool, and yeah,
Yeah.
it went pretty well in the end.
That's amazing. By my reckoning, I might be completely wrong. I think you and Dean are now level in the championship. I think that's right, because you were on 43 points. Oh, sorry, Dean was on 43 points, and you were on 40 points.
Yeah.
I think it's 20 for a win, 17 for second, is
Fair
my
enough.
understanding.
Yeah.
So, joint
Well,
championship leader.
Yeah, I missed the Donington round, so
Wow.
yeah,
Even better.
so far I've won every race I've done. So
Nice.
fingers crossed that continues. I probably jinxed it now for the
Yeah.
next race, but
Dean's going to start
we'll see.
coming in time for qualifying.
Yeah.
Instead of starting at the back.
Try to defend the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, fantastic race. I think we're going to have to cut it a little bit short, because I think we've got people. Oh, maybe we don't. Well, we're about to have people sit down in the seat, and there's not a huge amount more to ask you, because it was such a straightforward race.
Well,
for
hopefully
you.
I'll be back and have more to say in the second race. but-
Absolutely. And you're starting on pole again. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, very well
Yeah,
done.
try and get off the line a little bit better this time.
Yeah.
Clio's just wheel spin. That's all they do is wheel spin. Like,
Yeah.
I've tried so many different things.
I
I've tried
think
clutch
it's-
start, and also first on the grid here, it rolls.
Yes.
So
you have to hold it
you've
a
got to
little
hold
bit,
it on the
yeah.
brake, and then you can't like throttle at the same time without having
Yeah.
your foot on the clutch as well.
I think you can allow a little bit of roll. So I
Yeah.
always hold it on the brake until basically the lights come on, and then I just come off and let it roll just a little bit.
Yeah.
I think with the touring cars, I got quite a good start in the front wheel drive events. The taxi, by sticking with first gear. But I don't know. Did you change
Yeah.
up quite early, or?
I haven't even tried starting in second or coming up
Right,
second
okay.
early. Like after you get about 2 or 3 seconds of wheel spin, and then it catches and goes pretty nicely. But it's just by that point you swamped with 4 cars around you, and
John, yeah, because John got a fantastic start.
yeah, I saw Cyril got wiped out as well, pretty early jacks.
Yeah.
I
can't even remember
don't know
which
what saw,
incident
but
that was.
I remember seeing in the mirrors, and it was like, how was there being carnage on the first corner? It's, like, it's flat out, and you can go 3 wide easy.
Yeah, yeah. It's just leaving space and respecting the other drivers
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly.
Brilliant. Well, I'll let you
Cheers.
go and get some
Right.
food and drink
Thank you.
and get yourself ready for the next race, which is in, I don't know, probably an hour and a half's time, I would have thought. Thank you very much. Brilliant. So, next up then, the F2000 race, which will be featuring our very own Darren Kirk. To quickly run down the order on the grid for race 1. And that is Scott Woodwist, I believe, starting on pole position. Where's Colin Talbot? Oh, right, okay, so this is race 1 then. Scott Woodwist on pole position, Ben Brown second, Michael Baldwin third, Chris Harvick fourth, Dave Hedges fifth, Colin Talbot starting 6th, Darren Kirk in 7th, Carl Ranshaw in 8th, Erwin Columbus will be starting in 9th, Johnny Wilkinson in 10th, and Jason Eccles in 11th place. We're just going to take a very short break, if that's okay with you guys. Do come back to us in just a couple of minutes' time, where we'll see the start of the F2000 race. So, welcome back. We are just on the warm-up lap for the race, the F2000 Championship. Colin Talbot is actually on pole position for this one, with Scott Woodwist starting in 2nd, Michael Balding starting in 3rd, Dave Hedges will be starting 4th. We've got Ben Brown in 5th, Darren Kirk in 6th, Wilkinson in 7th, Clumpers in 8th, 9th is Hardwick, Eccles in 10th, and Ranshaw in 11th. So apologies for the earlier mistake on that one. This is the correct grid now. Unfortunately, I had double copy of the second race grid, and this is Ranshaw, I believe, our final starter in this race, and he's giving himself a bit of a gap to the rest of the field as the drivers now come through the final chicane to put themselves on the grid for our first single-seater race of the day. And a couple of the drivers at the back of the grid just settling down. Hello to everyone joining us live on Facebook and YouTube. We're looking forward to a 20-lap race with the F2000 cars. On board there with, I believe, that is Michael Balding. Just going to start waiting for the green flag. You can see the marshals on the left-hand side. He puts the green flag above his head. We'll wait for it to be waved, and away we go. So a good start then on the outside, and a good start from Michael Balding. Michael Balding looking for a way through. He gets blocked by Woodwiss, and it's Talbot followed by Woodwiss, and they go side by side. The guys have got to be really careful they don't overlap wheels, and good start from Balding. He's looking up the inside then of turn number 2. A little bit of touching wheels, and someone goes a little bit wide. That's Hedges, and Balding goes wide as well. He's down to 3rd place, side by side then with Brown, and Brown is going to lose out a little bit of time. And we've got the two Vegetation livery cars side by side. That's Kirk and Wilkinson. Kirk in front and Wilkinson behind. Through the back part of the circuit we go, and at the front then Talbot still leads from Woodwiss, then Balding, Kirk, Wilkinson, Hedges, Brown, Hardwick, Clumpers, and on the background that was Ranshaw, who I believe has just hit the barrier, unfortunately. Here's Eccles in 10th place, and there he is rejoining the circuit. Unfortunate start for Ranshaw. He's made a big trip down here. He does live up the north and comes all the way down to Milton Keynes for this event. And late on the brakes then from Hedges. He's looking around the outside, and up the inside of the second part of the chicane goes Balding, I believe, into 2nd place. I might be wrong. Waiting for the most up-to-date pictures there. Actually, Woodwiss was able to hold that position, and they go side by side, and Kirk gets a little bit crossed up with Balding as well, and he was on the attack, and there's some contact between, oh no, contact all down the field. And I think that originally came from some contact between Wilkinson and Kirk. So a lot of the drivers now trying to rejoin the circuit and get themselves back up and running again. They've lost a huge amount of time on this very, very fast Thruxton circuit. And not a lot, I think, that Kirk could do. Now this is a replay. We're going back to, this is Ranshaw losing it on the opening lap. Big, big impact. Oh, if that was real, that would be extremely painful. And lots of crossing over and about from these drivers at the back. And that's that Kirk there with Brown, who's going around the outside. Just in front of him is Balding. Balding, who had such a great start, now down in 7th place. In fact, Kirk had a great start as well, but they were both caught up in that incident at the the first chicane, second corner, and off the track goes Wilkinson and back on again. And Kirk and Wilkinson really got to make sure they don't hit each other for a second time. And Ben, it's shown the door by Kirk then, and he really did shut the face into the face of Wilkinson. Kirk taking a lot of curb on the inside, and maybe he's able to get a good run. Not this time though. And this is the battle for 6th place. Here's the replay then. So we're on board with Wilkinson. So Wilkinson, there's a little bit of crossing up with Balding and Kirk. He goes to the inside. Loses control, hits Kirk. Kirk then comes into Woodwiss. And then Kirk has to come back on and hits to Balding. So difficult one there. Hard to regain control at that speed. And a shame for a couple of these drivers. Woodwiss is still in 2nd. Oh no, who's that fired off in the background? That's Wilkinson who's gone off. I'm sure that happened by him on his own. And that's well off the track. And that's going to take some coming back from for him. He's now down into 11th place. Talbot then leading. He's looking for his first ever race win here at Simply Race. In a top category event, 1.5 seconds he leads over Woodwist. We're currently focused on Ben Brown in 6th, and behind him pushing hard is Darren Kirk, who had a good start to the race and perhaps not so good now. Still comfortably up in 7th place though, gaining slightly on Brown at the moment. So not hearing of any penalties thus far. Woodwist though is down to 1 second gap, below 1 second gap between Talbot and Woodwist, and here the guys are on the final chicane. This is the battle for the lead of the race. Woodwist looking for his for a victory today. He's competing in all 3 series, so he's doing 7 races today. This is the 3rd one. So he's getting quite used to this Thruxton circuit. It must be quite difficult mixing between all the different cars there and getting used to the dynamics of each. His gap is now to 0.3 of a second, and Woodwist piling on the pressure to Talbot and looking to push through. Lots of slipstreaming effect in these cars, and Woodwist needs to time his overtake well, and they've obviously got to be careful of the open wheel nature of this series as well. Coming into Church Corner then for the 5th time, very, very close. He maybe slightly unsettles the car in the dirty air, but Woodwist still close enough to maybe have a look into the final chicane. He's gaining, it's below 0.3 of a second now, probably a little bit too far away. He doesn't have a look this time. They get on the brakes. Woodwist goes slightly wider entry, and he's looking for a good exit, and he does get it, and he's looking up the inside of turn 1, and Talbot comes across and covers that move nicely. They head through turn 1, the very fast left-hander. Colin gets a bit wide, and oh no, oh, Talbot's gone wide, he's lost it, and the pressure got to him there, and Woodwist takes the lead. Talbot is going to try and recover as quickly as possible. He has to be very careful that when he does so, he doesn't come in front of any other drivers. And a gift then for Scott Woodwist as he comes into the race lead by 3.7 seconds ahead of Clumpers, who's also having a good race in 2nd place. Hedges recovering a little bit in 3rd, and as is Balding as well. So Balding in 4th place at the moment. We are on lap 6 of 20. These F2000 cars are doing very similar lap times. This is Kirk, just behind our ex-race leader Talbot. I'm joined by my good friend Jack Ashton. How are you doing?
Howdy, partner.
Howdy. Have you had your food?
Yeah,
I know you were looking for some food. We're just watching this race. We've had Colin Talbot unfortunately just spin out the lead. He's now just in front of Kirk. Sorry, you could say.
Yeah, no, I see Colin in the lead for a bit, and all of a sudden it went down a load of places. What happened?
He got one wheel. I think he was looking at his mirrors probably quite a lot. Got one wheel just a little bit wide on the grass in the exit of turn 1, and just unfortunately dropped it. The downside, of course, is that once you do lose it, it does really heat up the tyres, and then that affects you for the rest of the race.
Yeah, that's it.
And so still a good 13 laps remaining. We're on lap 7 now, and Kirk is no slouch. He won't be letting up easy on Talbot.
And also Hardwick probably wanting to try quite hard.
Yes.
As well.
Hardwick, our championship leader, down all the way down in 8th place. He has been the outstanding driver this year, leading currently the championship by 29 points at the moment.
After 2 rounds.
After 2 rounds, yeah. So what a great lead for him. Who's that going wide?
Is that Balding or Hedges? Hedges.
That's Hedges going wide. That's going to let his teammate Michael Balding gain on him a little bit. Clumpers was under pressure. He's now been relieved a little bit, and a little bit further back I think we can see some more battles going on. Hardwick's gaining on that battle between Kirk and Talbot as well, so that's going to become a 3-way battle very, very shortly. Hedges now close to Clumpers. So what's happened to Clumpers? He must have had a really bad exit.
Chris taking a lot of curb there. I'd be surprised if he didn't get a cut track warning for that.
Yeah, the stewards have been really hot on the cutting the track.
As I know.
As you know, you have first-hand experience with that, Jack. I remember you getting that over the intercom. I said to myself, there's probably a place there, and then I realised that I wouldn't make it because I got hit off. So here is Hedges then piling on the pressure onto Clumpers.
This is for second.
It is for second, yeah. And it's allowing Woodwist to make his escape. It's turning out a little bit like the Clio race where Harold was able to build a nice lead whilst everyone else behind was battling. We're currently focused then on Hardwick. So this is Hardwick. This is the battle with 7th. And Kirk defending from his ex-teammate. He might be kind enough to let his championship leading friend through, but maybe not. Maybe not. Darren wouldn't do that. He's going to give us some excitement, I would have thought. And,
and
there goes.
That's Clumpers,
very
almost collecting Balding.
And I'm not sure what happened there, whether it was contact or maybe Clumpers just lost a little bit of
under
momentum
too much
and
pressure
got
there,
a bit
probably.
wide. Yeah, he was under pressure for the entire lap from Hedges, and unfortunately for Clumpers, he loses a couple of places, but still in a very respectable 4th place.
Oh, and there's a dive.
This is Hardwick lining up Kirk, and he makes the move into the first chicane.
I don't think Kirk was too bothered by him overtaking him there. He just sort of see the dive come in and let him go, really, didn't he?
Happy to sit behind him, use his toe, learn his lines. We know Chris is a very fast driver, so
although he looks, by the looks of it, you don't want to copy that line.
No,
almost got a bit twitchy on that corner.
And this is still the same battle, isn't it? They're coming through Church Corner now. Then
Darren's got the run here, though.
So can Kirk then extract his revenge at the next corner? Just 0.1 of a second between the two drivers. They couldn't really be any closer, and they're giving us some good blockbuster TV as they come into the final chicane. Kirk goes to the inside, moves to the outside. Does it touch? Not quite. Can Kirk go on the outside? No, he slows it down and he looks for the exit through the chicane, and they come across to start their 10th lap of the circuit.
Chris is quite defensive there, so he doesn't want to let him pass.
No, and why would he, I suppose?
Absolutely, yeah. Championship in his hands, he's got to try his hardest.
Yeah, just ahead of these guys is Colin Talbot, and this is a 3-way battle then for 6th position. Just a couple of attempts between all 3 of them, and here is Hardwick going to the outside. Then he's going to have to go the long way around to this left-hander, tucks back into the slipstream. Kirk is also doing the same thing to him. He's got to think defensive as they come through this tricky right-hander. So easy to be too keen on the gas and run out wide, and all of them having good discipline there, and they head into Church then.
Could be interesting for the braking zone into the chicane, getting the run on the toe.
Ooh, Kirk goes really wide.
Oh
no!
Can you bring
that
back?
Held it. He's held it.
Looks like.
Do you know what? That's a great save.
That is, yeah.
Bad mistake, but a good save. And someone else has gone off. Is that Wilkinson? I think that was Wilkinson, who unfortunately is now a lap down.
Oh, okay.
And this is the battle still going on between Talbot and Hardwick. Who's this then? This is between teammates Hedges and Balding for 2nd and 3rd position, as they were pretty close together always in the USF 2000 Championship, the USSC. The same is the case in the F2000, same cars of course.
I think they probably just want to keep the gap between in front of them and behind them the same, and finish where they are. Really, there's no point to push anything, or at this point, teammates bag the points. Probably a good idea.
If I know Michael Balding, he's going to want that position. And here is Chris Hardwick through the right-hander. He's now got the inside for the chicane, but Colin Talbot is not going to back down coming into the braking zone, I'm sure. They're heading side by side up the hill. Looks like it's now, completed and well completed move from Chris Hardwick. He's gaining those valuable championship points, although he does take a lot of curb on the exit. Maybe Colin
him down.
Talbot can make a move at the inside.
And Kirk coming through now as well.
Is that Kirk? Oh my
Yeah.
God, Kirk's back. When did he go back on these
Oh, and
guys?
Kirk's off. He's going to
Oh no!
That's a bad one.
Oh,
there.
such a good save earlier, and he just missed it this time.
Just as you looked away.
I know. I thought he'd gone, to be honest. I was surprised he was even there. We'll show that replay to him, I think, when he gets back. Just so
I'm sure he'll be really pleased to watch.
Yeah, I can't see any complaints from him at all. We are now on lap 12 of 20 laps, and that battle between Balding and Hedges is pretty close. But I think we're about to see a replay then. This is Kirk going a little bit wide. Just loses concentration, I think. He was actually on the line.
It did understeer a bit wide, and then as soon as it hit that grass, it just lost control for him, didn't it?
So unfortunate for Kirk. He rejoins in 8th place. He's actually not that far behind Talbot, just 1.4 seconds behind him.
Well, in fact,
closest battle now is between Brown and Clumpers. That's a 4th place. Oh, also there's the Hedges Baldings battle. So there's lots going on at the moment, and here is Brown putting lots of pressure onto Clumpers into turn number 2. Can he go around the outside? Probably not, but he's going to look to get a good run on the exit, and again another switch back and take all of the momentum around the back part of the circuit. And whilst we've been talking, Balding has moved up into 2nd place, so we'll try and grab you a replay of that as well. So Balding into 2nd, was down in 8th place at one point, so it's a good recovery from him. Clumpers though still under plenty of pressure on lap 13 here.
Oh, big slide on.
Sideways. Yeah.
Close to that grass there.
Yeah, really difficult. As you've seen before with Kirk, drop one wheel on the grass. You've got so little grip on that one particular wheel, 2 wheels, and a lot of grip on the other 2 that they do just spin around quite easily.
Ben can get a good run here on the slipstream. I reckon possible dive onto the brakes. We'll soon find out. He's gone to the outside. And he stays there. He's running a bit wide. Clumper's got a line though. He's going to have to tuck behind.
That's good, respectful racing. They gave him just enough space.
Ben's going to have the run out the exit.
Yeah, so scared a little bit off the track was Clumpers, but did a good job of defending to that point. And it was great to see that both the drivers gave enough room for each other all the way through that battle. Meanwhile, Kirk is now catching Talbot. He's had 2 incidents today, or maybe 3. He's had 3 incidents today, but he's still gaining on Colin Talbot, our previous race leader.
Pole sitter as well.
Yes, and pole sitter. Frustrating race for Colin Talbot.
And also you can see Chris Hardwick catching Clumpers, and as we watch Clumpers run wide on the grass.
So that's going to gift it to Hardwick, surely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there goes Hardwick, yeah. Perhaps Clumpers is running a lot of tyre wear at this point in the race. Certainly we've said that a number of times that it's the one something to consider. Oh, wow. Big sideways moment. A great slow-mo from our producer Dean as well.
Well held as well.
It was well held, actually. I didn't realise the amount of angle we had there. It's not the British or Simply Race British Drift Championship. Simply Race British Championships, and more about the racing than the drifting. But we try and delight you with everything today. And just in the background of that picture, I think you can see Kirk and Talbot, and then there's Clumpers just ahead as well. This is Kirk and Talbot. There's a bit of nudging going on. They managed to just about both get through that corner, and Kirk throws at the inside there. You don't see those happen very often, and Kirk moves up.
Colin spotted it well though. I was surprised he saw that coming. That's a late move.
Yeah, very surprising, but good move then from Kirk up the inside. And he moves into 7th place. His next target is Erwin Clumpers, who's been struggling a little bit in the second part of this race, perhaps with tyre wear, we believe. And certain that drift, epic drift we saw a lap or so ago, won't have helped his tyres.
Definitely not.
Kirk managing to stay on the grey bit this time, not going too wide. And gaining somewhat down to 1.2 seconds. Talbot's just 0.34 second behind Kirk though.
Balding's pulled a big lead on Hedges as well, so he must be a bit quicker than Hedges here today.
Yeah, he's got some good consistency. Obviously, it's the first 2 races for these guys, so maybe there's more time for hedges to be found between races 1 and 2. Here's a replay then. This is between Kirk and there's a little bit of contact there. Kirk and not good, just Scott. Sorry, Talbot. Oh, great move then. Just saw that they just lost a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, and the door just opened as Colin moved to the left. He decided to go to the right.
Also, meanwhile, we've got Hardwick pushing Brown hard
and a big
well.
slide again by...
Oh no!
Oh, and that's Hardwick.
Oh, Hardwick, our championship leader. He's gone off and he's going to rejoin just behind Kirk Talbot, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, there goes Talbot through.
Interesting. That's going to affect the championships quite a bit, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
So, a lot of points being left on the table today from Chris Hardwick. Woodwist looks like he's going to take full points, but he hasn't been present for most of the championship. And Brown is going to be the biggest winner out of all of this, I think.
What about Balding or Hedges? How are they doing in the championship?
This is Balding's second race, I believe. And we still see Kirk and Clumpers battling at it. Yeah, Balding's second race, so he's actually got a fair few points behind Chris Hardwick. Highest up driver that is present today is Carl Ranshaw, who's down in 9th place. So that's actually 1 place behind Hardwick. So our top 2 drivers are a little bit further down than you would expect. Colin Talbot isn't going to be able to make the most of this gap as well. And then it goes to Kirk and Balding. So
yeah, very mixed bag of results this
really,
race
it's an opportunity for drivers to make the most of a rare poor performance from Hardwick. And actually, he might get away with it a little bit. We're on lap 18 of 20, just 2 laps remaining. Kirk pushing hard.
I reckon we'll see Kirk make a manoeuvre before the end of this race on Clumpers. He doesn't want to be sat behind him too long, I don't think.
No, that's for sure. And there's just 0.2 of a second between them as they come round turn 1. Jumps back into the toe towards turn 2. It's probably too late to make a move there. Oh, bit of contact and late on the brakes then from Kirk. He's going to drop back a bit and lose some time.
That's Talbot behind Kirk as well coming into the action.
Absolutely, and Talbot will be desperate to get some points back, and actually Hardwick's not so far back either.
It's shaping up for a good few laps coming up now.
Absolutely, and we've got a bit of a grandstand finale with this midfield battle, and it's an interesting tight line from Colin Talbot. It seems to work for him though. He's really gained on Kirk, and as they head towards Church Corner out of Village into Church, it's now Talbot who's on the offensive.
Oh, when he got at Church, not there.
Oh, they both go off.
Did they touch? I'm not sure. Oh, he almost come collected Chris, but they got away.
Wow.
I'm not quite sure what happened.
I don't think they hit. I think they just both scared each other.
They did. I think Colin got a slide on, and Darren saw it happening and shook him up a bit, and it caused him to spin. Well, I guess we'll soon find out with a replay.
Yeah, we'll get a replay. Kirk is actually back on. I was going to say he wasn't too far away from Talbot, but actually, I know he's only 0.6 away. Oh, Eccles is now not far away from Talbot even. Kirk has lost a big chunk of time. We're on the penultimate lap now, and Woodwist has had a nice, relatively easy go at it.
Yeah, I mean, Balding has taken a large chunk out of the gap. I remember looking at it 8 seconds plus earlier, so he's taken a couple of seconds out last few laps.
If you're Woodwist there, you just kind of
absolutely take it easy, because we all know how easy it is to put a wheel on the grass here and lose a lot of places. So taking it easy is definitely the route to do if you're in the lead with that gap. Right, here's a replay. Here we go. Do they touch?
Oh, there's a little
I don't know. I think Darren had a slide on, which in turn made Colin get right up the back of him.
I think
they just tapped. I'm not sure. Yeah.
not a lot, just
very minuscule amount.
Yeah, exactly. And now actually, Hardwick's back up in 6th. He was down in what, 9th a minute ago,
8th, 9th, wasn't he? Yeah.
And he's on the final lap, and he's pushing hard to get that extra few points from Clumpers as they head into the chicane for the final time.
It just seems that everyone piles up behind Clumpers, maybe gets past, and then all make a mistake and go back again. Clumpers just keeps regaining the places.
And perhaps it's a little bit to do with patience and picking your moves and keeping the flow on this high-speed circuit when your rhythm is interrupted by someone being in front of you.
Also, I've noticed Ben Brown's only 0.7 of a second off Hedges.
Oh, that's
I know it's the last lap,
Ben
but
Brown.
there's no way he's going to do anything, but unless there's a mistake made from Hedges.
Really long way out. Can he make something happen at the final chicane? Ben Brown on Dave Hedges. Breaks late, they both do, and a little bit overshot from Ben Brown, but to be honest, he was a little bit too far back. Well worth saying that Scott Wibbis has taken the victory there, and then Michael Balding in 2nd, Hedges in 3rd, Ben Brown in 4th. Then we've got the battle between Clumpers and Hardwick, and I believe it's Clumpers that's come through successfully in 5th, Hardwick in 6th, Ranshaw in 7th after that big accident on the first lap. Our pole sitter and race leader for a few laps, or at least 3 or 4 laps, indeed was Colin Talbot in 8th place, and then we've got Jason Eccles 9th,
pulling off.
Darren Kirk in 10th, and
is Colin going to make that in the pits?
Who's that in the pits?
Colin just pitted. Interesting decision.
I mean, it looks like he's been classified because some other people have moved in front of him. Someone doing donuts there. That's nice to see.
Someone's happy.
Yep, very good. That's oh, you go. Maybe they run out of fuel.
Can you run out of fuel? yeah.
Brilliant. So entertaining race in the F2000, one of the better races we've seen this season in this category. Do stick with us for just wait for a few minutes. We are going to grab the top 3 from that particular race, and we will then be back live with the Simply Race Touring Car Championship. Brilliant, so thank you very much for your patience, guys. If you're watching us on YouTube and Facebook, I'm joined by Dave Hedges, who was 3rd place in that last race in the F2000 series. Hectic? Yeah, it was a bit messy, but it was slightly cleaner than the clear race, I have to say that. Your start, I think you had a bit of a coming together with someone towards the start, wasn't it? Were you involved in the Darren Kirk,
there was
Johnny
an incident
Wilkinson
at the front,
yep.
Which I
sort of coming up towards the back of.
Yep.
It sort of allowed me to go through, but then there was a bit of a tap on the right hand quarter, so yeah, ended up on the grass, but sort of come out still, I think, fourth, so it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Yeah. And then you came back on, worked your way up to second place.
Yep.
Michael, your teammate, probably had just a little bit too much pace.
Yeah, I think my front left tyre was going off a bit, so I was struggling to hold. I think it's turn 7 on full throttle, so it's it was only a matter of time before he dragged me and got up the inside. So
absolutely,
we've got a pact that we don't
you don't battle too hard. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Exactly.
That's what teams are all about. You don't want to take your teammate off. That's the worst thing you can do, and it's quite a good plan to have a pre-defined strategy between the two of you. So you talked about your front left tyre.
Yeah.
I think that's what pretty much everyone is kind of battling today. And if you can escape the battles, it's a lot easier to look after that tyre. As soon as you have a bit of contact and you've got high speed spin outs or all that kind of stuff, it really does ruin the tyres. Things like that you can see on my screen. That really does ruin the tyres completely. Yeah. So I'm sure your excursions didn't help, but
went onto the grass.
Yeah, absolutely.
For about
but Ben Brown was catching you towards the end. Was that you letting off a little bit and trying to keep it safe towards the end?
To be honest, it was just keep it steady and try not to go on the grass, because obviously lost 7 seconds probably on that last.
Yeah.
When I hit the grass, so it's just.
And so for the next race, you are. Where are we?
Touring car.
Oh, you're in touring cars, aren't you? Of course you are. I was going to talk about the next race of this one. The next race you're starting in 5th.
Okay.
Which is a bit later, a bit further down, isn't it? I think I haven't got the original for race 1. What are your expectations for the next?
Well, for a touring car? Or
F2000 first, while we're on the subject.
Well, get on podium again. I think.
Yeah. Okay. So looking for a top 3.
Yeah.
And touring cars?
Try and get into 5th. Yeah. Well, I had one spin and that cost me the last race. So
yeah. You tend to find that the Beamers come back quite strongly, I think.
Yeah,
towards the end of the race. And the football drives are really struggling on the fronts.
Yeah, there was a lot of tyres left at the end there. I had 75% on the front left, so everyone else is like 50 and 25.
I had 13% on my front left.
So need to push a bit harder.
So I'm looking forward to you coming forward towards the end of the race. Obviously, the difficulty in the front rear-wheel drive car is you're going to be careful on the traction.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where there was a slight mistake earlier on. But
there was, that was the only thing. Just hit the
first
curb
time
and
in those cars, I think.
First racing time. Yeah, so just get a bit more practice. Hopefully the next one will be stronger.
Yeah. Cool. Brilliant. Well, I get to race you against you again in a few minutes' time, so I'll leave you to get yourself
keep it
prepared and ready, and I'll talk to the other guys who are queuing up. Okay. So thank you very much, Dave. We're going to speak to your teammate Michael Balding then quickly as we move towards the second touring car race. Michael, thank you. Hello, how are you doing? It's much easier if you have that there. There we go, people can hear you. Oh, we can shake hands now, though. You've done that, yeah, that's it. Perfect. So, how was your race? I mean, you had a bit of a...
You saw what happened.
There was contact further behind you.
Yep.
And then that sent Darren into someone, and that sent someone into someone.
Just cascaded on.
Yeah, it was like 4 people involved in one instant. And it was like...
I had a great start.
Yeah.
I thought from 3rd, got into first through turns 3 and 4, but then I got a little bit unsettled, dropped those 2 places, and then on the second lap, as you're talking about, Darren came careering across, and caught me only a little bit. Was enough on the wonky part of the track where it just threw me totally all the way around, back down to 9th, and then pulled it back.
Fantastic.
As best as I could.
Your pace was really quite strong. You were gaining on Scott.
I felt it was,
a little bit. I'm not sure how much Scott was just looking after his tyres. He built up quite a big lead whilst everyone else was having a big battle. So we're looking forward to kind of seeing you guys in the next race.
Yeah.
Where did you start in that race?
3rd again, I believe.
So you're starting 3rd, right? Okay. So you're starting 3rd in that and 3rd again. So we're looking for another podium, maybe a win.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm going for the win.
Overall win for this weekend.
Win.
We've got lots of, you can't see it on the screen. We've got lots of really nice big trophies for the guys here today as well. So the points get averaged out over 2 races for the Clios and for the F2000 and 3 races for the Simply Race Touring Car Championship. So be interested to see how you get on in the next one. You've got a little bit of a break, probably. I don't know how long you got. About an hour and a half to go, and then you can real refuel and get yourself ready to go.
Definitely.
So yeah, very well done.
Thank you very much.
And we'll maybe see you again later.
You will.
I will.
You will.
I will still
You will see me.
microboarding later on.
I'll be an interview. Okay.
Brilliant. So we're going to take Mr. Woodwiss for a very quick word whilst we wait. Thank you very much, Michael, for the touring car series to grid up, and I'm going to have to rush off and race in that, and probably will crash out again, but we'll see. Mr. Woodwiss.
Yes.
Are you tired yet?
Tiny bit,
Yeah.
but that win makes up for it. You've no idea how long. That's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
So I think that's the first, like, overall, not a heat win, but like an overall win I've ever taken here.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time coming. So
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
It was a good race. You did well. Obviously, if you're watching, you come in a little bit, just a little bit out of shot. Scott's actually doing every single race today, so he's doing 7 races.
Yeah, I'm that crazy.
Plus 3 hours of practice this morning as well. It's insane. But rewarded by with a victory in the F2000 category. We're going to move back to front-wheel drive touring cars in a second, so that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But Colin was leading well to begin with, and you then started putting him under a bit of pressure, and he kind of gave it to you on a bit of a platter, really.
Well, he was. I could see I was stronger than him out of the final chicane, because looking at my lap times, I was gaining about half a second on him every time I was coming from the chicane.
Right.
So coming down towards that chicane when I was right behind him, I thought, right, because people saw what happened in the Clios, so I thought I'd sit back and see what happens just so I can try and get past him. And his run off the chicane on that occasion again was a little bit shaky, so I thought about moving alongside and put him a little bit of pressure, and then going through the first corner. He just ran wide, and I was like, okay, fair enough. And then it was just from there, it was just managing the gap, and I could see the guys behind were pulling at it, were battling amongst each other, and the gap was going at 6, 7, 8, 9 seconds. So I was kind of just wasn't trying to get complacent. I was trying to at least just keep a rhythm together. So, but there was one point because it was off. It's the right hander after Noble, I think. So you come off Campbell, Cobb, and Sugo, then left hand. I think is it Goodwood? The long right-hander.
Long right-hander, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And there's one point because it's a very tricky corner where if you don't take it properly, you can start to run one guy on the grass.
And then that's a killer,
it just pulls you right off into the grass. So at one point, I ran a little bit wide. I put 2 wheels on it. I was like, no, don't go wide. So I had to sit back and I was just holding on. But then I saw the gap coming down, and second place was catching up, but brought it across the line and
relax and
just
look after tyres and make sure you cross the line first.
I mean, I was still putting in sort of like mid to low 14s, just to kind of with a couple of 13s put there for good measure. So yeah, satisfied with that.
Brilliant,
very satisfied.
And looking forward to your next race.
It'd be interesting. Yeah, I've actually surprised myself actually. Cause I think the first race I just took too much out of the tyres. I think I sat there thinking, it's 20 laps is too long because but halfway through my front, especially my front left, was a bit
I
shot,
think at the end of I was saying before, at the end of my race I had 13% left. Right, sorry, we're gonna have to cut this a little bit short. We're gonna have to go race. So thanks very much to Scott. I'm going to switch over to Darren Kirk, who will take over the commentary for this race, the SRTCC. Do stick with us. We'll be back in just a few moments' time with the second round today from the touring cars.
Hello and welcome back to the Simply Race British Championships. We're just about getting ready for the second Simply Race touring car round of the day. I think the cars are going out on the grid at the moment. I've just recovered from my interesting USF 2000 race. My poor tyre supplier's not very amused. Driving around with 50p's. But I think that's quite a good point with this track in particular. If you have a high speed off, it is really hard to get the tyre temperature back down again, and it's really easy to flat spot the tyres and you just lose time, especially sort of front downforce in those cars. But it is what it is. Let's move on and we will run down the grid for the next round of the touring cars. So this is a finishing order of the first race. So Lewis Manley on pole position, Steve Boyce in second, Chris Wilson third, Scott Woodwis in fourth, Jack Ashton in fifth after he dropped down the order with a drive-through penalty, Shamek in sixth, who told me before he started, I can't drive this track, I'm not going to bother. And I told him, go and drive it. So he had a great result. Our Ben Turner, who's not here, obviously, in seventh. Sean King in 8th, Dave Hedges in 9th in the only BMW, so later on in the race I'd expect his tyres to be a lot better than some of the guys in front of him. Colin Talbot in 10th, Connor Hamilton in 11th, Matt Goodyear Scott in 12th and Johnny Wilkinson who's starting last. So, I haven't got an updated championship standings for this, but I do know that Lewis has taken a chunk out of Jack Ashton's lead. So we will see how that goes. Don't forget all these guys have weight penalties based on their finishing position. So Lewis Manley is taking a mid-size man round in the boot with him with 75 kilos. Steve Boyce has got a skinny man in the boot, 66. Chris Wilson is going to have a teenager, 50 something kilos, and it goes all the way down to 10th place. So most of the cars are going to be driving with some sort of weight on board. So I think the cars are going out on a warm-up lap, but part of the reason we do these warm-up laps, so if there are any technical issues or niggles that need addressing, we can deal with them. And I think we can hear someone shouting that they might have a slight issue. So we're just going to make sure that they are happy before they go live. Obviously everyone's here in this room behind me, all got exactly the same equipment, and we've got like a spare pod and two, so if there is an issue we can move the driver to another pod whilst we address any issues. So you see race control there behind the desk working out what they're doing. You can see Dave just about in the corner. So yeah, got Mike Yao and Ben Mangar. Sorry Ben. It's probably the worst pronunciation of your name today. So they're behind race control, just making sure everything's good. The cars are still going round on the formation laps, so I don't know if we're going to have a grid start in a minute. We'll just make sure that the starters are happy. But yeah, no, there they go. So they're dealing with that. So we'll just watch the venue for a little bit. See, this is taking place at Simply Race in Milton Keynes. We've got 15 link simulators here, a couple of training simulators and VR and everything available. So let's have a look at some of the people that are watching. Steve Boyce joined, well he's racing. Ian Redman, hello Ian, not here today, I thought you might be here in the clears. Stefan Rouleau, I'm not even going to bother join that. Nathan Burton, who was supposed to be here as well, he's not here. Yeah, so we've got quite a few people here. Don't forget, if you head over to Facebook, you can get a nice 1080p 60 frames per second stream. On Facebook, the quality is a little bit lower. But as they say, it is what it is. That's a Facebook limitation rather than our limitation. At the end of this race, I believe we're going to do a reverse grid draw to work out which touring car driver gets boosted to the pole position on the grid. We will have a quick break from Facebook then, just so we can reset the stream because we are limited to 4 hours. The YouTube stream will carry on going throughout. Got Alex Sadler here on YouTube. Hi, Alex. So yeah, I think it's been some interesting racing today. Some perhaps better than others. The first touring car race though was pretty good until track limits came into. I can see. Oh, yeah. I don't really know what to say about that, but half the grid have crashed on the formation lap, which is a little bit embarrassing, I think. I don't know if we can get a replay of that. I think though, if you have an incident on the formation lap, you should be put to the back of the grid. I can see our producer laughing. Let's have a look, Dean. Why not? We've been waiting for ages for them. So, here we go. This is what's just happened on the formation lap. So, we've got Shamek on the outside, turns Ben Turner around, who then gets hit by someone else, and someone else goes off, and some of the cars stop. That's not ideal, to be honest. That's probably trashed Ben's tyres already, but he's going to have to deal with it. He's got to get himself back up through the order, back to his grid place. As Lewis Manley takes the first spot on the grid with Steve Boyce alongside him. Wilson is going to be in third place, Woodwis in fourth, Ashton in fifth, Glodek in sixth, Turner seventh, King 8th, Hedges 9th, Talbot 10th, Hambleton 11th, Goodger Scott 12th, and Wilkinson in last place. So, they're all there on the grid. I think we're going to get ready to go. We'll wait for the beeps. I think it'd be hard to look past Manley for a win on this one. Whether he can do about three today, we will see. But green flag waves, the cars are off. It looks like a relatively decent start. Manley does look like he's taken the lead. Boyce in second, Chris Wilson's doing well in third, and we've got the Norling car of Hamilton in the barrier in the background. Turner's looking racy. I think he's managed to avoid hitting anyone, but he has lost a place out of it behind Shamek. So Manley has got 1 second lead already over Wilson, who's taken second. Boyce in third, Woodwis in fourth. Ashton looking very racy in fifth place. Glodek in sixth, Turner in seventh, and then Hedges behind him with King, Goodger Scott, Talbot, Wilkinson and Hamilton. So a lot of corner cut in there from that white. Oh yeah, Scott Woodwis all over the road. I think that's actually put Jack Ashton off. He's had to gather it back up again. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but Shamek is sideways through Church. Ashton's going to have to try and go round him, but what this has done is allowed Turner to sneak through up to fifth place, which is not bad. There you go, Ashton's up to sixth, so he's going to start his thing. Boyce and Wilson are side by side, battling for second place. I think Wilson's taken it, but Manley's disappeared off into the distance again. Woodwis is up to third with Boyce behind him, and then we've got Ben Turner, so let's see how this shapes out. Got a replay here of what happened into the chicane. Car off in the background. Oh, Shamex. I know this is at Church, isn't it? How he kept that, I don't know. But nicely done. So we get back to the action now. And what we've got here. Ashton and Turner side by side. I think Turner's got this for the time being. With Glodek behind. Yeah, Manley's got a 2.3 second lead already. Wilson in second, about a second ahead of Woodwis. And then Boyce a further second and a half down in fourth, sorry. So there is this battle here. Oh, that was a good move there by King, very opportunistic. Sneaks through on Glodek. I think Glodek's been struggling a little bit with Church, and King probably saw that on the previous lap and decided to go out with it. We've got our Simply Race foghorn of Ben Turner, who is on full throttle. We can hear in the venue, but Ashton's lurking around the outside. Ben's not going to let him go there, but Jack's going to. Yeah, I didn't think he was going to take a move there, but I think he'll probably look at sending up the inside to turn. I guess it's turn 3 into this complex. There we go. Ashton's on the brakes. Bit robust on Turner, but you could argue it's touring car racing. But I think what he's done there is he's let Turner retake the place. Very fair. Which is probably not helping his championship chances, but obviously Ben will be very happy with that. It was perhaps on the limit of touring car racing, shall we say. So on board with King, got a good view of this. Ashton taking a lot of curb up the inside there. He's looking to get a run on Turner. Glodex moves to the inside, allowing King to go back around the outside. Going to go through Church here. I think they're side by side, but Glodex is on the line. He's made the move. And Ashton, he's up the inside of Turner now. Can he make it stick? Yeah, he's tucked back inside. Turner's gone inside. Ashton's gone to the outside. And they go through the chicane. A lot of curb there by Turner. See if he gets away with that. King's dropped down and lost a place to Goodger Scott. But they all seem to be behaving themselves quite well. I'll keep watching Turner here. Lewis Manley's just driving away. 3.4 seconds. I think we'll probably see that close to about 10 seconds by the end of this race until he starts managing his tyres. He's certainly not been stretched too hard today, and he's proven that he can manage with the weight on his car. Look after the tyres. But there we are in that red Toyota Avensis. It must just be like a Sunday drive, but Ashton's gone off the track. What's he doing over there on the grass? And Glodek is back in front. I think a lot of the guys here have been saying that they're not really a fan of Thruxton. There's definitely a few drivers that seem to understand it and get the hang of it, and some that are struggling, particularly the ones that you would, you see Ashton's just rather slightly wide. It's easy to do when you're behind another car and you sort of end up following their line and get dragged off. I know I did it earlier on following Chris Hardwick, who had a little excursion, and I followed him straight off. But we've got Turner is looking onto the back of Boyce now. There's only 2 tenths between them. Turner's definitely... Oh, where is Shabbat going? I think he's going to get told off for that. He'll have to drop back into a position where he was. He's taking the alternative route. Here we go. Let's see how he managed to do it. I think he's just... Someone's taken down the brake marker board. He's just been caught completely out, and he's decided to straighten the wheel up, take the shortcut, rejoin, and he's done it nice and safely onto the exit of the corner. Obviously checked his mirrors first. But Turner's looking racy. He's starting to get the hang of this car. Let's see how much progress he can make. He's tucked right behind Boyce. He's moved to the inside. There we go. He's braked hard. I think he's made that move stick if he can do the chicane. It's a little bit slow on the apex, takes a lot of curb. I wonder if race control will have a chat to him about that. But he's got Boyce right behind him. I think this is going to be Turner's best showing, possibly. Although I think he had a couple of third places earlier on in Brands Hatch, but Boyce goes for a lunge. Brakes late, gets the car stopped. Turner goes for a cutback, goes around the outside, has to brake a little bit harder, so he's going to be compromised on this run. There's contact, Boyce runs into the back, then has to straighten up and drive over the grass, taking out one of the Dunlop boards. But he's going to have to be careful here. He is on the offline, and Ashton's trying to go round the outside. Ashton right behind that car. Now he's got to be careful he doesn't get caught out running onto the grass. You can see Goodyear Scott's done in the background. Ashton goes through side by side through Church. He's still there, but he's just going to tuck in, regain the toe. But this is compromising Ashton's championship perhaps a little bit too much. He's not going to be too happy. Maybe a bit of a bogey round for him, but he goes for the inside of Boyce. He is side by side as they go down the pit straight. He's going to be a little bit compromised on his entrance, but if he can get his car stopped, lined up, and in front of Boyce before the braking zone, which he's going to do, I don't think Boyce is going to make a dive that time. And Ashton takes the place. So let's see if he can catch down and chase down on Turner. But all of these lot are battling whilst, well, Turner, Ashton, Boyce are. So they're not really making much progress on the two in front, and Manley's just driving off. So I think Lewis Manley's definitely having a good race. I think I've just seen a car in the pit lane. Is that Wilkinson in the pit lane again? It's not been a great round for him. As a Ginetta Junior driver who's recently been to Thruxton, he seems to have been struggling the most out of all the drivers here today. So maybe it's trying to adjust from real life to sim. But we can see Hamilton getting wide, does manage to gather it together. So we've got Hamilton, Hedges and King here. You would expect the BMW to be better on its tyres later on. And Hedges is having a look. King's disappeared, so clearly got... Oh, and Hedges has binned it. So that's an easy 2 places there for Hamilton. King went wide, Hedges went into the barrier. Hamilton goes through. It's nice when that happens, when you're the guy who sees 2 people bin it in front of him. It's a good couple of positions there. So let's see, the Ashton and Turner are looking close. Both in event side. Ashton does have more weight on board than Turner. Ashton also probably has more talent than Turner. But Turner is in front. And to be fair to Ben, he has been getting faster and faster. I know he only jumped in this car for practice earlier on. He concentrated on a race run rather than qualifying runs that a lot of other people were trying to do, just so he could work out how to manage his tyres. Now again, there's a lot of curb there. I know the stewards will be looking. I'm not sure what they're defining as too much curb. But Ashton looks like he is up the inside. Turner does give him room, but he's going to run onto the grass if he's not careful. But Ashton's through. I think Ben knew that was... he was fighting a bit of a battle there that one way or the other was going to shape out in Ashton's favour. So we've got... Let's look here. Boyce in that Ford. Boyce was in a BMW and has changed for this round. Don't know if he thought the BMW was too difficult or just too slow, but he's moved to a front wheel drive car. But he started in second and he's dropped all the way down to 7th. So is he more effective with the weight than some of the others? Let's have a look. So we've got Kevin Bonney, Dean Prescott have both joined us to watch. Hope you're having fun. Dean's actually doing the producing at the moment, so he's not really watching. But someone's just dived off into the pits there, I think. Oh no, Glodek. He had a sideways moment. He didn't go in the pits, but he just lost quite a bit of time, releasing Boyce to chase down Turner. Closest battle on track at the moment is still Turner-Ashton. And we just saw Glodek and Boyce both sliding off in the complex. I think they've just lost a bit of time to each other there. Good Scott is closing in on the back of Glodek. So these two Ford Focuses are going to be battling soon. Only 0.4 of a second between them. Here we are, we've got them on camera now. So Glodek in that beautiful Team Purple Helmets car, which is now on the grass. He's on the grass more than Bob Marley. But he's back. I think he's going to be struggling with tyres throughout this race. We've seen a lot of sideways action, and that's Wilkinson off the track again. It's not going too well for him today. He's now a lap down. Not a strong showing at all. So, on board with Ashton, who's trying to catch up with Wilson. So if we have a look, he's about 1.7 seconds behind Wilson, and Woodwist is only a couple of seconds up the road from him. We're on lap 11, 9 laps left, so it's going to be a tall order unless one of these guys make a mistake, but it is easy to make a mistake. Just a little off, even if you keep the car straight and rejoin without spinning, it's good 2-3 seconds that you'll lose. Ashton's getting his head down now. I know he's approaching this race a bit more cautiously than what he has for the first race, where he got a track limits penalty and had to serve a drive-through. Now, he wasn't sure where he was picking up the penalty, so he's used the time to go and chat to race control and decide, work out where it is that he did fall foul. Adam Carter said, good luck Johnny Wilco. I think he's going to need it to gain a lap back on the field. A couple of new guys joining us on the chat. Oreo, Pierre-Luc, welcome. Hope you're enjoying it. Andrew Whitenbergs is saying a great last race. He's really enjoying it, which is good. We've got Paul Lewis-Tibble popping in to say hello. Now my stream is a little bit delayed on Facebook, so I'm just going to try and get that up to date. Let's have a look at lap times. I think it's going to be quite obvious who's got the fastest lap. Actually, no, Turner. Ben Turner has set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:13.5. Lewis Manley's only done a 1:13.9. Now we know Lewis has a massive gap at the front that he's now going to be managing. But Boyce is all over the back of Turner, so maybe Turner's taking too much out of his tyres. Boyce looking very racy now. Turner goes defensive, Boyce goes around the outside to try and get a better run out of the chicane. A lot of locking up there by Turner, but he's all sorted it out. And here's Ashton on the back of Wilson. See if Ashton can make it round. He's looking around the outside. He needs to get a bit of overlap to make it his corner. He's had a dive. Wilson's gone wide, but still keeps it there. Great driving from these two, giving each other plenty of space, and that's what we want to see. And Ashton takes P3 from Wilson. I think Wilson might be a little bit gutted from falling out from a podium position at the moment, but it was great racing from the two of them. A lot of respect given, and that's what we want to see. None of this banging doors or trying to force each other off the road that we've seen by a few other people. So now Ashton chasing down Woodwis. It's about a 4-second gap. So let's have a look. Most of the fields, the top half of the field are all in 1:13s, along with Glodek, who's just fallen down just from making a few mistakes. He's solidly in the 1:13s. Then we've got everyone from Matt Goodyear Scott down to Hedges, all lapping roughly in the 1:14 as their best lap. And Johnny Wilkinson's best lap, 1:15.2. So he's a little bit off the pace in this race. But I can tell you, just on this lap alone, that little bit of battling between Ashton and Wilson has cost them 2 seconds in the first sector. So that just goes to show how much battling costs. And that's why we're seeing a few guys just run away with victories. If you can get a bit of a gap and everyone else behind you is fighting tooth and nail, I wouldn't say it was easy, but it definitely makes it easier for you to just maintain the gap. And if you can concentrate on what you're doing, it can be an easy win. So these guys are coming up through Church Corner, one of the fastest points on the track. Really need to get the car turned in, make sure you don't run too wide onto the exit. Turner's pulled away from Boyce a little bit, but I think Ashton's the guy making the most movement at the moment. Lap 14, he's got 6 laps. We'll keep an eye on his lap times and I can tell you if he's making any progress. So he was 4/10 quicker in Sector 2, a 10th slower in Sector 3, but overall he has taken some time out of Woodwest. So do a couple of tenths that lap, see if he can keep this going. Turner's run deep, got back on track though. Don't think that's much harm done, but he's going to be vulnerable to Boyce as we go on to the back section of the track. You can see there just in the background Boyce catching on to the back of Turner. Now it's relatively easy to get sucked in, lose a little bit of front downforce, or get coaxed into taking a line you don't really want to take. And you see Turner running wide. I think he might end up on the grass there if he's not careful. He's definitely had to lift down, and that's allowed Boyce just to catch right up to the back of him. He's going to go side by side through Church. Both drivers give each other space. Turner's run a little bit wide, but I think he's got to fairly concede the position there. He tucks back in. It's definitely not over yet. He looks to the inside as they go into the chicane. Gets it turned in. A lot of curb again. It's all about the drive out of the corner as they go up towards the complex. So, lap 16, 4 laps to go. Ashton, though, he has taken a good couple of seconds out of Woodwis. Actually, yeah, can we go to that? I think he's going to be right on the back. Woodwis has clearly made a mistake somewhere. He's lost a bucket load of time. And he's off the track again. What is he doing? He's throwing this away. Come on, Ashton. Let's see what happens here. As they go through Church, he's got to run, he's quicker. He's going to move to the inside. Woodwis is trying to force him off. So Jack has to move back to the inside. Very defensive line there. And they go into the chicane. Ashton lines his car up. There's a lot of curb there by Woodwis. Ashton's up the inside. I can hear, I think, race control warning someone for track limits there, but I think we're going to see Ashton take the position here. So Ashton's going to be on the outside of the corner as they go into the complex, but he is ahead. There's contact there. There's a bit of pushing, but Ashton, I think, has made the place stick. Meanwhile, Manley's 10 seconds clear, which is about where I thought he'd end up. So keep an eye on this battle. Ashton's definitely started to, I think, learn the track. Maybe it was a little bit of inexperience. I know he's only done one thing here, but you can see the understeer here from Woodwis. He must have ruined his tyres. You can just see how much time he's just lost. And we've got Boyce and Turner off in the background. Turner's going the very long way round. If he's not careful, he'll end up in Portsmouth going down there. But again, they've gathered it back up. They've both dropped a position, and Goodyear Scott's the big winner there, who snuck through into P5. I think he's going to be pleased with that. It's a recovery drive. I think we're going to try and get a replay to see what happened there, but it looked like both drivers coaxed each other off onto the grass. One's gone off and then the other one's followed. Here's the replay. So we're on board with Goodyear Scott. Turner has a little wobble, and yep, you can see Boyce go off and Turner just following. And Matt Goodyear Scott sat there going, thank you very much, I'll have both those positions please. And he's caught right up onto the back of Wilson now. So Goodyear Scott is the guy that's making moves. I think a few of these drivers have killed their tyres, and that's why we're seeing so many mistakes. Manley's backing off, you can tell he is. He's catching on, Ashton's catching him, but he's got such a lead, he can afford to do that. And if Manley's being sensible, he knows what he needs to do for a championship. He knows he's got a big lead, and you might as well just back it off a bit now. Make sure you bring the car home. Don't make any mistakes, especially when the tyres are being worn. There's a few of these guys who are perhaps pushing a little bit too hard early on, and then as their tyres wear, they're getting desperate. And they're turning the wheel more, the car's not turning in, they're putting more lock on, they're shredding their front tyres more. You can see here, on board with Goodyear Scott, it looks like he's looked after his tyres, and he is quicker than Wilson in front. Last lap rounds, let's have a look. As they cross the line, 1:15.8 from Woodwis, 1:15.1 from Wilson, and a 1:14.4 from Goodyear Scott. So yeah, again you can see the puff of smoke and missed apex from Woodwis. Again, another missed apex from Wilson. They are really struggling now. Woodwis has driven onto the grass again. You can see that. Goodyear Scott is just going to start picking these guys off. It's lap 19. He's only got this lap and the next lap to do it. But if he He sorts himself out. You can just see them shredding their tyres. There's no need to put so much lock on. If you look at where Matt Goodyear-Scott's driving, he's using more of the track. He's not trying to turn the car more, and they're just catching onto the back of Woodwiss. I wouldn't be surprised. Woodwiss has gone off again. Wilson's going to look round the outside. We've got a bit of a rolling roadblock here from Woodwiss, right in the middle. Wilson looks up the inside, makes a little bit of contact. He's spun. There's just a bit of corner cutting there from both of them, and Matt Goodyear-Scott's through. Boyce has hit the back of Wilson. They join lap 20. There was a little bit of contact there, but it looked like a little bit of just, I'll save my tyres here and I'll cut this corner from Woodwiss. Let's see. Oh, 4 of them here. I don't think this is going to be the order they finish in. Last lap. Let's have a look. 117.4 from Woodwiss. 113.7 from Goodyear-Scott. You see, yeah, that's quite a big corner cut there, I think. I think the stewards might have a little look at that. But Goodyear-Scott, he's got a run. He's gone up the inside. He's looked after his tyres. Very sensible drive here. They go into church. Woodwiss has driven off. He's gone into Hampshire somewhere. Does manage to rejoin, but he's dropped down to 6th place. In 1 place ahead of Turner. Wilson's looking a little bit defensive. I don't think Boyce is going to have anything to respond, but Manley takes the win. Sorry, we've missed that as he crossed the line. Ashton in 2nd place. Goodyear-Scott in 3rd. And is that Boyce has taken 4th place on the line? We might have to have a look back at the replay there. Let's have a look. Here we go. There's Lewis Manley winning the 2nd race of the day. Can he make 3? He certainly had it a little bit easier, but I have to admit, next race with Ashton starting next to him again, it's going to be probably a little bit harder for him than what he's had in a few of these. But Goodyear-Scott, great 3rd place, and this is what happened on the line. Wilson ran wide and Boyce just nipped through. Almost a photo finish, but I think, yeah, Boyce just nipped that one. And then we've got Woodwiss and Turner crossing the line in P6. So we're going to take a little break now. We'll get some of the guys from that last race to have a little chat to. And then we will be probably looking at our time, having a quick restart of the stream. So we'll be back on a new stream on Facebook after we've had these interviews. And we'll do the reverse grid draw, and then we're back for some more frenetic Clio Cup action. So, joined here by race winner, Lewis Manley. Congratulations, that looks relatively easy, didn't it?
In the simulating, yes, but I did pretty much make it look easy. I was very good on the tyres. I still had the front left, 64 on the front left, 68 on the front right.
We could tell.
Yeah.
I said at the start, I think Lewis is going to finish with about a 10-second lead. And then you can see Jack was catching you a little bit towards the end, but I think at that point you decided to play it safe, just get back to the line. Next race is going to be interesting though. You've actually got them alongside you. I think it might be your most challenging race of the day, because the other two have looked very simple from your point of view. I mean, you must love that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's definitely helped your championship out, hasn't it? You start to claw back some of those points that you might have lost in the first round, and it's going to shape it up nicely as we move forward. But
yeah, exactly. Because in that race, obviously the 75 kilos, the car still felt fantastic in the race, and was very good on the tyres.
Yeah, unfortunately we didn't see much of you because you were so far ahead. There were some great battles behind, but yeah, you were gone. I think midway through we thought, oh, let's see how Lewis is getting on. But congratulations, that was an awesome victory.
Thank you.
Let's see if you can make 3 out of 3.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. It depends what the back reverse grid is. So
I think it'll be the first chap of the series to have done that. So no pressure. You can set a record here. All right.
Cheers. Thank you.
Right, we're joined here by Jack Ashton now.
Hello.
Hello, Jack. Ah,
Yeah,
you're smiling.
Take a breather after that. That was absolute chaos.
Yeah. Well, we
Went to
focused a lot on your race.
Yeah.
Obviously, you started off sort of 5th, 6th place in the Turner Glodek
Yeah,
new
and
battle.
then, I went off. I think it was like lap 1 or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember what happened.
I think a few drivers have been caught out. You're behind another driver, and you just get caught out and just go slightly wide.
The vision is quite tricky on that corner
Yeah.
as well. It's all blind, so it's just finding that right line is tricky as well. I remember the first race, I was flat out every time through there. As long as you get the line right, but that whole race, second race, I was just make sure I don't go off and just lifting most of the time to
and then
make sure I can get round there.
And then once you got through the Glodek Turner battle, you just picked everybody off. They had trashed their tyres.
Mine was probably worse.
Where you saw some drivers just constantly understeering, driving off the track,
Scott's
throwing away.
Yeah, Scott's
could have
must have been pretty bad.
Good podium.
But yeah, I finished with, I think it was 16%.
16. Lewis had 64.
I know, I can't understand actually how to do that, to be honest. I'm usually very good with the tyres and understand how to do it, but if I was going to look after the tyres, I think I'd probably be about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds a lap slow.
I think critically, when you're involved in a battle, and even if you're going through the complex with another car, we were looking at your sector times, you just lost 2 seconds just from giving each other space. Whereas Lewis hasn't had that. He's just been able to clear track, really focusing on his.
I think even if I had a clear track for myself, I honestly don't think I could finish that race with that sort of tyre usage. To be honest, I mean, hats off to Lewis for that. It's just top drive. I think he probably deserves this round win because he has totally owned it. Really,
I did say just to put him under a little bit of pressure. I said, "Look, Lewis, you could be the first person to win all 3 races in a weekend." And he smiled at me and was like, "I hope so." So, I
let's hope my P2 start can put him under a bit more pressure than what he's been under recently. So
yeah. Well, good luck for the last race. I think we're going to speak to Matt Goodger-Scott now.
Absolutely.
I do want to have a chat with him.
Sterling effort right at the last few laps, I believe.
Yeah.
I'll hand him over.
Thanks, Jack. Just got the results up here, just whilst we get Mr. Goodger-Scott sat down. So, Matt, congratulations on the podium. Yeah, you must have a big smile on your face.
After race 1 where I came kind of 12th, that was a lot better. But I think I made 1 overtake in the whole race. The rest of it was just driving with protecting tyres and stuff. So not very exciting, but
we could tell you'd looked after your tyres, so you were finding it a hell of a lot easier towards the end of the race. As everyone in front of you killed their tyres, they were 2 seconds a lap off the pace. It must have been just easy pickings for you, especially when they've driven off the track.
I think 3 of them drove off the track. I had 50% of my kind of tyre life left at the end. I know in race 1 a few people were down in the 30s or even lower. So
Jack said he was 16.
16?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think he might need a new tyre supplier.
Using Pirellis.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I said some great racing there. Obviously, it helps when people just hand you the position, should we say? But obviously, you've got your times at the end. You're one of the quickest guys out on track when you compare to everybody else around you. So maybe that slightly slower at the start looking after the tyres is really starting to pay dividends.
I was nowhere at the start. I spent more time on the grass, I think.
Would you like some bad news though, Matt?
What's my bad news? Where am I starting in race 3?
Well, we don't know yet, but I can tell you, you are going to have
50-something kilos of ballast.
I've got it written down. It's on one of these sheets of paper.
58, is it?
57 kilos of ballast in your car. So we worked that out. 57 kilos is probably about a mid-sized teenager. 75 kilos a mid-sized man. Probably 30 kilos a child. Don't know, but you can have that in your boot.
Great.
So you might have to consider that a little bit more for your tyre life. But I think we're going to do this reverse grid draw.
Oh.
So you've got Shyla, who's going to draw it. Shayla, sorry.
Step out of the way.
Look, I've been told off. Wave, smile. Is it a 6 or a 9? Who finished 6th? Ah, that's a poor draw. 6th. So Scott Woodward is going to start on pole position with Chris Wilson in 2nd, Steve Boyce will be in 3rd, Matt Gidges-Scott in 4th, Jack Ashton 5th, Lewis Manley will be in 6th, Ben Turner will start in 7th, Shamek in 8th, Connor Hamilton in 9th, Sean King in 10th, Colin Talbot in 11th, Dave Hedges in 12th, and Johnny Wilkinson in 13th place. So, we're going to take a quick break now. We're going to pause the stream, get a new stream up on Facebook, so if you are watching on YouTube, bear with us for a couple of minutes. Facebook, we will be back in about 5 minutes on new stream, so just refresh the page and look out. Ben's just checking his hair, so he'll probably do that in the break. So Jeff, just bear with us chaps, and we'll be back very, very shortly for the next round of the Clio Cups.